opportunity. We can't cheat ourselves.
Lasky, along with Paul Stewart, who'll be helping me out on the color commentary. I appreciate your coming up on such short notice, Paul.
Well, I feel a little bit like the reserve player that wants to get in the game, but not because the first stringer is hurt. Dan Gustin under the weather seriously back at the hotel, and I'll be glad to help out wherever I can.
All right, and we'll see how Jeff Horton's team will do as the Wolfpack will receive the opening kickoff. There's the kick. Damon Lynch takes it at the 1-yard line, and we've got ourselves a brand new football game. Damon Lynch takes it out to the 23-yard line, and that's where the Wolfpack will start out. Jeff Horton's team looking to bounce back from last week's defeat against Weber State, and they'll take to the offensive side of the things.
Opening hit by Jamie Anderson on the kickoff.
Here's a look at the Wolfpack offensive line. Shara, Welker, O'Donnell, Valentin, and Araldi up front. And the backs and receivers, Vargas, Senior, Krishan, Stevens, and Tommy Mack.
It'll be interesting to see how the Wolfpack's no-huddle offense will wear on Pacific in these hot conditions.
That's a very good point. We'll see how the Wolfpack does right off the bat. Chris Vargas rolls out. Looks like a broken play, and Vargas rolls forward for about 5 yards.
I can guarantee you that Vargas did not want to carry the ball on the opening play.
And I would think that Jeff Horton probably doesn't want Vargas carrying the ball very much at all, but that was obviously something that went wrong on the exchange. And looks like Zeke Moore is the starting running back today, and Moore was not in the right place, or Vargas was not in the right place, but the main thing is that Vargas picks up 7 yards on the broken play, and it's second and short yardage, 2nd and 3. Moore gets the ball and has a big opening. He's up to the 40-yard line, up close to the 45-yard line. Zeke Moore, who ran very well last week against Weber State, one of the few bright spots for the Wolfpack, rips one off here, Paul.
Last week's start by Zeke Moore was supposed to be because it was homecoming and he's a senior, but he had a good first quarter against Weber State, and he's starting off strong again right here.
That was Kerry Brown with the tackle for Pacific as Zeke Moore breaks things off. The Wolfpack gets his very first down of the day, and here's Moore again. He's up near the 50-yard line. The Wolfpack is known basically as a passing offense, Paul, but ever since the first game of the season, Jeff Horton and the rest of the Wolfpack coaching crew has talked. If you take a look at the Wolfpack, this defensive line, it's the Wolfpack defensive line. We'll see what they look like in a moment, but the Wolfpack offense is known as a passing offense, but the coaches like to run the ball first.
They like to establish the run anyway, because that will, if nothing else, loosen it up for the pass. This looks like a Wolfpack team of old right here.
And once again, Zeke Moore with the ball. Up beyond the 50-yard line, they'll bring up a 3rd and short, and it looks like we'll see Vargas' first pass of the game as he goes over to the sideline and talks to Jeff Horton and also to Steve Hagan, who makes the offensive calls. Here's the Tigers' defensive line. Anderson, Karthauser, and Stammer up front. It's a 3-4 defense, kind of similar to that the Wolfpack plays. There's the linebackers, Anderson, Carter, Dyrick, and the other Carter, and that other Carter is Grant Carter, and he is the guy to watch this afternoon, number 38 for Pacific. And watch him on this play in particular on 3rd and short. Vargas is audibling at the line of scrimmage and hands the ball off to Moore, and Moore gets up to the 45-yard line. That is enough for a Wolfpack first down.
2 first downs so far in this drive, and the Wolfpack has yet to put the ball up. That's somewhat of a surprise.
That's definitely a surprise. This Wolfpack offense runs off 600 yards a game at a pretty regular clip, and so far the Pack is keeping the ball on the ground. 12:49 to go in the first quarter. No score. As Vargas brings his players up to the line of scrimmage, he's got Senior at the bottom of your screen. Reeves in the slot, and up top is Michael Stevens.
Not only are they running, but they're huddling.
Vargas back finds Senior, and he's up close to another first down. It'll be 2nd and short. And 2nd and short yardage situation is always a good time to possibly go deep and take a risk. There's Michael Senior hopping a little bit. Looks like he may have injured himself. He's going to go off the field. He's signaling to for a replacement, but the Wolfpack not able to get one out there, so Senior will stay in the game at the top of your screen. Reeves in the slot. There goes Zeke Moore again, and he gets flipped, but it's enough for another Nevada first down as the Wolfpack keeps turning up the yardage and chewing up the clock. 11:57 to go in the first quarter.
Good tackle right there by Darius Cunningham.
Well, we got ourselves a flag on this play, though, Paul. Holding against the Wolfpack is a preliminary call, and we couldn't see it quite there. Maybe on Michael Stevens there, but I did not see it that obviously on Michael Stevens. In college football, the referees won't tell us who the guilty party is, but the Wolfpack will be set back 10 yards.
That'll bring up 2nd and 9 on the penalty.
So Vargas on the Pacific 45-yard line in a passing situation. He goes back, has Reeves over the middle, and we got ourselves another flag down also in a holding vicinity right around midfield.
Vargas threaded the needle to Reeves on that one. It would have been good enough for the first down, but it's coming back again. Looks like the second consecutive holding.
I think it might have been Mike Bro, number 66. That was the pretty much the area where the flag went down. So the Wolfpack now finds itself, I believe, in a 2nd and 20 situation once they get done stepping this off. As Brian Reeves makes a nice catch, but that will not count on his reception total as we get another penalty against the Wolfpack.
The replay did show linebacker Charles Miller going down to the ground, so we have to assume that he was kind of wrestled to the ground, and a holding penalty. 2nd and 20.
They mark it from the spot of the infraction, so it'll be a little bit more than 20. According to the scoreboard clock, it'll be 2nd and 22. Vargas across the middle over to Brian Reeves up around the 45-yard line near the original line of scrimmage. No flags on that play, and it'll set up a 3rd and about 9 situation for Nevada. Brian Reeves, who's been averaging 10 receptions a game this season, he is one of the top receivers in the entire country, no doubt about it. Here he picks up his first official reception of the day as he's able to pull the defensive back, come back on the curl pattern to make the catch.
Pass was thrown low, but it wasn't going to be intercepted at that point.
3rd and 9 for Vargas. He dumps it off to Zeke Moore, but he can't get away. That's number 28, Darius Cunningham, with the tackle, and the Wolfpack is now in a situation. This is an interesting situation here, Paul, where it's too far to kick a field goal. Might be too close to punt. They could go for it, but I think Armando Avina will try to kick a short punt as Zeke Moore is tackled.
Zeke Moore, strictly a safety valve on that. That's not the place Vargas wanted to go. He just also wanted to avoid the sack.
Well, Avina will try to pin Pacific back as the Wolfpack first drive of the day is stalled thanks to penalties. And here's the kick down, and that's Cunningham watching the ball bounce at the 7-yard line, and it is down. And we'll be back after the first. The Wolfpack drive amounts to 0 points, and with 10:10 to go in the first quarter, it's a 0-0 ball game. There was a flag down, a personal foul against Pacific, and it was apparently not a dead ball foul because the 15 yards are assessed against the Tigers, and the Wolfpack offense will keep the ball first down from its own 33, or from the Pacific 33-yard line.
While we were away on break, we were commenting that only the penalties kept the Wolfpack from a possible scoring drive, and here it is continued.
A big blow for Pacific. You want to keep this Nevada offense off the field, and they give Nevada another chance. And here's Zeke Moore again, cutting back to the inside. He falls forward. Zeke running hard up to the 26-yard line.
Well, Zeke's not happy about being 2nd and 3rd on that depth chart, and he's showing why he was the starter last year. And another interesting point is he gained 180 yards against Pacific last year, and he wasn't scheduled to start this year. Jeff Horton may have noticed that looking over last year's game summary.
Zeke really has been the forgotten man the first part of this season. Diedrich Holmes was the early starter, then Marcellus Christian, but Zeke Moore has started now his 2nd consecutive game and has looked very impressive. Vargas back to throw on 2nd and short. He's in a little bit of trouble. Looks the other way. Finds Tom Matter. He fumbles the ball down to inside the 10-yard line. They are going to call that a catch. They are going to call that a fumble.
Well, he clearly had possession. Turned to run, and the ball popped loose. We'll see if there was a hit on it.
Well, Jeff Russell's the man who came up with the ball. Vargas goes back to throw, looking for his roommate. Tom Matter, after being in a little bit of trouble, zips the ball in. Matter stops. And yes, it is a fumble. Good tackle there by number 42, Dwayne Thomas. Pacific recovers inside the 10-yard line.
they're in the same position that they were after the punt, so turnabout is fair play.
The ball goes inside to number 25, Darrell Rogers, and he gets stacked up. University of Pacific with its first offensive possession.
Pacific, a very vanilla offense. They're going to let their defense do the work for them and try for field position.
Their offense has had a lot of trouble scoring, and the Wolfpack defensive line, which has had trouble stopping very many people, led by Jeff Conrad and Jim Jones on the defensive line. And there's the linebackers, Washington Boo, Bryant, and Leediff. And we'll see if the Wolfpack defense, which has had so much trouble in the last couple of games, can stop an offense here. And there is Craig Wheelahan, the quarterback for Pacific, on a busted play, and he gets tackled by David Miller.
Very similar to how Vargas started out with a busted play. However, Vargas turned it into a gain. And Wheelahan is tackled for a loss.
He tried to wheel, but ended up getting tackled around his own 5-yard line. Wheelahan has shared a lot of time at quarterback along with Dave Hennigan here at the University of Pacific, but Hennigan's banged up a little bit, and Wheelahan gets the start, and now he finds himself in a 3rd and 13 situation. The Wolfpack defense now has a chance to make a big stand. Wheelahan back in his own end zone, in trouble, in more trouble, and gets dropped inside the 5-yard line. Well, the Wolfpack defense makes his first stop of the game on the first Pacific possession and forces the Tigers to punt, and they'll have to punt from their own end zone as Wheelahan goes back on the replay here, Paul, and he was in all sorts of trouble, could not find an open receiver. Andy Boo closes in on him.
Marty Washington was knocked down, got up, and made the tackle.
Marty Washington's been playing very well, especially on pass rushing situations in the last few games for Nevada. Here's the punt. Brian Reeves calls for a fair catch around the 44-yard line. And we're going to take a timeout. No score with 7:27 to go in the first quarter of play. We'll be back in Stockton after these messages. The Rush Limbaugh Show at 6 o'clock, followed by the news from the team you know and trust at 6:30, and then at 7 o'clock, the Golden Girls. We're back here at Stockton, California, where the Wolfpack gets the ball for the second time this afternoon.
After a change of possessions, the Wolfpack has to be feeling pretty good about it because they moved the ball. Pacific didn't move it an inch.
In fact, Pacific lost a few yards, and Nevada takes over from the Pacific 44-yard line. Vargas with a fake, goes back to throw, finds his man, Tom Matter again. He hangs onto the ball and goes inside the 35-yard line of Pacific, and that's a first down for Nevada.
And it's a vote of confidence in Tom Matter, too. He comes right back to him after the turnover, says, Tom, here it is again, bud.
Vargas back to throw, a good play-action fake. He finds Matter right in front of the linebacker. And Matter gets the first down, and we've got a man down on the field. I believe that might have been the man who tackled Tom Matter, a senior tight end from Torrance, mechanical engineering major, and he's a real scholar athlete, Tom Matter is. You've heard sometimes that term used in rather dubious circumstances, but Tom Matter really is a true student athlete. He's got about a 3.8 grade point average in mechanical engineering, as the Pacific trainers tend to the fallen Pacific player. And that is Dwayne Thomas.
Looks like it might be a wind injury or something similar to that. He was up on his knees, which is an indication that he got it in the stomach.
Well, the Wolfpack offense trying to score the first points of this game. The Pack offense has been very effective as Thomas is up and going off the field. And looks like he'll be all right. But the Wolfpack offense has been very, very productive, Paul, this entire season. They've had 14 drives of 80 yards or more.
It's been a precision machine. Even in defeat, they go 615 yards against Weber State last week.
Well, Chris Vargas has a first down from the 31-yard line. The rollout, and Vargas has got all kinds of room to run. Gets a good block from Brian Reeves and is inside the 20-yard line. There looks like the ball might be loose, but the officials are not giving any indication that the ball is down. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving at the bottom of the pile, but Chris Vargas, not the biggest guy, not the fastest guy, but he gets the first down for the Wolfpack on the naked bootleg.
That was a design play, and he picked up his blocker and had about 10-yard cushion. So you can see he's going to take a quick look for a pass, and then he picks up Brian Reeves as his lead blocker.
Well, it looked like he wanted to try that shovel pass to Reeves that the Pack has tried earlier this season. Reeves kept looking back for the ball, but Chris probably rightly decided to hang on to the ball because he picks up a first down. Vargas hands off to Marcellus Krishon, who's into the game for the first time, and he gets popped. Nice tackle there by number 18, and that is Dimitri Gazelas. A big hit from Dimitri, and Marcellus Krishon still picks up a few yards, picks up about 4 or 5 yards in this play, Paul.
Another thing about the Wolfpack offense is they have been very efficient once they cross inside the 20.
Inside the so-called red zone, and it's now second down for the Wolfpack and 6 yards to go as Krishon picks up 4 tough yards. Vargas inside to Krishon, and he's through. Very close to the first down. The Pack needs to get to the 10-yard line, and he's about a yard short. Krishon is not a very big player, not in any sense of the word. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, and Paul, I think that 175 pounds might be sort of what you see in a football program where the numbers are slightly inflated.
You betcha. But I know that for a fact.
He's a tough guy. Jeff Horton's team goes to Zeke Moore over the top, and he's got enough for the first down. The Pack going with that full house backfield. Again, no huddle. And this full house backfield that they've copied from Fresno State has been very effective this year in most third down and short yardage situations. I haven't seen any numbers on it, Paul, but I would say when they go to that full house 3-man formation in the backfield, they've been about 80%, 85% effective. And
when they're inside the 5, they punch it in almost every single time.
Well, it's now first and goal for Nevada as Vargas goes up to the line of scrimmage, barks out the call. And the ball goes over to Krishon, trying to get to the outside. He's running out of room, but he's able to scoot forward up to around the 5-yard line. Good pursuit there by Pacific, in particular by Jamie Anderson, number 7, the linebacker, as he's able to force things to the outside, Paul. As you can watch him fighting off the block from Tom Matter, and he's really the man who makes this play. Good play there by Anderson.
He stayed with that block and pushed off at the last second and got him. One thing about the Wolfpack's 3-deep offense, it's very effective, but it also detracts from Chris Vargas's numbers. He's got 20 touchdown passes, but they very rarely throw inside the 5 now. They might try one here, though. It's second down and goal from the 6-yard line. Vargas goes back to Marcellus Krishon inside the 5. And to touch on your point, Paul, I am a little bit surprised the Wolfpack's not throwing the ball a little bit more in this game, in particular down here inside the 10-yard line when you've got effective possession receivers like Michael Stevens, Mike Sr., and Brian Reeves. You might see the result of that a little later in the game, though, when they start pinching on that run and then they'll exploit it. This looks like a passing formation here, though. Third and goal from the 4-yard line. Vargas back, looking for Reeves. It's deflected. Nice play there by number 4, Rodney Campbell, the defensive back out of Oakland. Makes a great play there on the timing route from Vargas to Reeves. So although the Wolfpack has been able to move the ball up the field twice, they're going to have to settle for a field goal attempt by Armando Avina. A great play there by Rodney Campbell on the replay, and now Avina comes in for looks like about a 21 or 22-yard field goal attempt, pretty much the same as a point after. Snaps down, Avina's kick is up, and it's good, and the Wolfpack is on the board first with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Nevada has taken a 3-0 lead on Pacific. We'll be back from Stockton, California after these messages. Nevada has taken a 3-0 lead on Pacific with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Armando Avina set to kick off. A programming reminder, be sure to watch Monday Night Sports Wrap this Monday, right after the Monday Night Football game between Buffalo Bills and the Washington Redskins. There's the kick. Pacific takes it deep, 2 yards deep, and this is number 37. It's Mel. Steve Mel, running back out of North Highlands, California. He returns it up close to the 20-yard line. Avina with that field goal is now 4 for 6 since taking over the kicking duties from Philip Stamper about 4 games ago. But you mentioned it was no longer than a long extra point, and he's 16 for 16 in extra points, so Avina has been effective. There's been a lot of questions before the season, in particular after the first couple of games, how effective the Wolfpack kicking game would be, especially when Stamper was struggling. But Avina has come on, done the punting, done the place kicking, and done the field goal kicking, has done a very good job. Pacific takes over. That's the pitch back to Ozzie Wallace.
And he is tackled right away by
Jim Jones.
Steve Bryant.
And Jim Jones made the initial hit. And they're meeting him in the backfield.
Correction, not Ozzie Wallace. This is Jesse Campbell on the pitch. He gets the ball. And good play there by number 95, as you mentioned, Paul. Jim Jones, he's the one who forces Campbell to go back inside. And he's brought down for another loss as the Pacific continues to go backwards rather than forwards. 2nd and long for Wheelahan. He goes back, and he's in a lot of trouble, and there is Jim Jones, and that's a fumble. The ball is still live. The Wolfpack still fighting for it around the 1-yard line. And it looks like Nevada has the ball unless it rolled out of bounds.
If it went out of bounds, Pacific will retain possession. And that's what happened.
Yes. The Wolfpack had a terrific opportunity to get the ball on the Pacific 1-yard line. Here we go back. Wheelahan in trouble, and great move there by Jim Jones. He forces the fumble. And is that Marty Washington? It looked like Marty Washington was trying to pick it up and run into the end zone.
Hall,
or
42.
Tawan Hall, 42. This is a better angle on it, but Tawan Hall wanted to pick the ball up and run into the end zone. If he had just fallen on the ball, the Pack would have gotten the ball on the 2-yard line. And the ball then gets past Steve Bryant and then goes out of bounds. So now it is 3rd and 26 for Pacific from its own 1-yard line. And we've got, I believe, a delay of game.
Well, that'll be about a 1-foot penalty if it's half the distance to the goal. This has to be a real boost for the somewhat maligned Wolfpack defense to be able to be holding a team to minus yardage, and we're approaching the end of the first quarter.
It was a delay of game penalty, and as Paul said, it pushes Pacific back about a foot. Now they're only about a foot away from their own end zone. Wheelahan in all sorts of trouble, still 3rd and 26. He gives the ball inside. Good tackle there by Steve Bryant and a couple of other people, and the Wolfpack will get the ball back in terrific field position as the Wolfpack defense, which has had so much trouble stopping opposition in the last couple 3 games, makes another big stop. And there's Pacific's coach Chuck Shelton wondering, how bad can my offense play this early in the game? 2:13 to go in the first quarter, 3-0 Nevada, and Pacific is going to have to punt from its own end zone.
That's Kerry Brown, who's not their listed punter.
Well, he was able to get off a pretty decent kick considering, back to the own 40-yard line, and Brian Reeves returns at about 7 yards, and the Wolfpack will take over at about its own 33-yard line. So Nevada putting Chuck Shelton's team in a whole lot of trouble, up 3-0 with 1:58 to go in the first quarter. We'll be back. Be sure to stay tuned at halftime for the Maury Distributing Halftime Report. Scores and highlights this afternoon from college football with Dana Wagner from our News Channel 8 studios. Here in Stockton, California, the Wolfpack up 3-0 with 1:58 to go in the first quarter. It's been a fairly quick first quarter because there's been so much running involved. The Wolfpack offense has not thrown the ball, relatively speaking, that much, and they find themselves in a 1st and 10 situation on their own on the Pacific 33-yard line. Marcellus Krishon runs out of bounds after picking up about 4 or 5 yards.
Once the Wolfpack crossed the 50-yard line on their initial possession, this game has been played exclusively on the Pacific side of the field.
That's not what Chuck Shelton and Pacific wants. They want to keep the Nevada offense off the field, this offense that is ranked number 1 in the country. And now Chris Vargas in another situation where it's 2nd and relatively short, 2nd and 6, where he can either run the ball or throw the ball. And Chuck Shelton trying to find a way to get his Pacific Tigers to stop this Nevada offense.
Vargas only putting the ball up 5 times so far, completing 4 of them.
Well, here comes try number 6, and that's complete to Tom Matter. Very close to a first down, but he's a couple of yards short. It'll be 3rd and a couple, as he is now, Vargas has now found his roommate Matter 3 times in this first quarter.
Coverage by Jamie Anderson, a junior out of Riverside, California, cornerback.
Well, it'll be 2nd or 3rd down and short. Marcellus Krishon stays in. He might be the man to get the ball here on 3rd and about 2.5.
Audible.
This will be a pass. Vargas back to throw. He has Reeves. Reeves makes the catch, and he's down at the 20-yard line. That's good enough for a first down right in front of Dimitri Gazelas. Reeves signals the first down, slaps himself upside the head a couple of times, and he picks up another reception, and the Wolfpack picks up another first down.
Vargas, the master of changing the play at the line of scrimmage. He saw something that he could exploit, knew he only needed a couple yards, and went right to Reeves.
Those timing patterns are very difficult to stop. Pacific did a great job on the last Wolfpack possession. Rodney Campbell with a big play. But that time, Reeves got the first down, and this time, Krishan gets just a couple of yards up to the 20-yard line on first down. Well, after the Wolfpack ran so effectively for the first part of this first quarter, it seems that Pacific's defense has now started to stand up and assert itself against the run. By the way, we're talking about Brian Reeves. He averages 10 receptions a game, and take a look at this. This is the all-time career receiving list, and Brian Reeves has 233 receptions. At this rate, he'll finish the season as the number 5 all-time receiver. Back to live action. Vargas in trouble, gets away. He's still up on his feet. He's beyond the line of scrimmage, I believe. No, touchdown to Brian Reeves. The line judge says that Vargas was not over the line of scrimmage. He finds Brian Reeves. Add another receptions to the Reeves list of all-time receptions, and add another touchdown for Reeves as the Wolfpack scores from 22 yards out.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rob, you called that one right on. He was 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and the replay will show it.
However, the lineman, or the line judge, pointed at the field, pointed at the part where Vargas threw the ball and said he's not over the line of scrimmage, but I think he may have made a mistake. Avina comes in, kicks the extra point. It's a 10-0 game with 40 seconds to go. We'll take a look at that Vargas touchdown in a moment, but first we'll go back to Reno for these messages. The Pack leads 10-zip.
Asking for the original angle.
Stockton, California, and the Wolfpack takes a 10-0 lead on this play from Chris Vargas. The line of scrimmage was the 20-yard line, and there is Vargas. He is definitely a yard past the 20-yard line, but he finds Brian Reeves. No call, and we're back to live action. Armando Avina kicks the ball into the end zone, and Pacific decides to down it. So Nevada gets a bit of a break, it appears, at least from our angle.
Well, that's a loss of down penalty. Passing the ball over the line of scrimmage is a costly one, so yes, the Wolfpack definitely got a break on that one.
Well, it's 10-0 in favor of the Wolfpack with 37 seconds to go. Jeff Horton, happy with what he has seen so far as the Wolfpack, after losing to Weber State last week in an embarrassing defeat, has jumped out in front 10-0 in this game. And Craig Wheelahan of Pacific trying to get his team to move the ball forward, something they have not done this entire game. There's a nice swing pass out to Darryl Rogers. And Pacific is in position to possibly get its first down of the game. Let's go back down to ground level. And Rogers, who catches a lot of passes, they like this swing pass to Rogers. Statistically, he's Pacific's leading receiver, even though he's a running back. He finally gets dragged out of bounds by Steve Bryant. It'll be second and just a couple of feet to go for a Pacific first down. Wheelahan inside. That's Rogers, and he's stacked up, but I believe that should be enough for the first down. Going on the spot.
Going back to the Wolfpack touchdown, Brian Reeves back on the touchdown parade. That's his 11th of the season, and he had 10 straight games with at least one touchdown pass broken last week, you'll remember, against Weber State, so he's back on track.
That's a first down for Pacific. It's first down of the game, and it comes with 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. If this is a running play, this will be the last play of the first quarter as Wheelahan goes to the line of scrimmage. He has one back. He hands the ball off in the draw play, and that's Stanley Green, the running back. And that'll take care of the first quarter as Green is wrapped up near the line of scrimmage. Well, Andy Boo and the Wolfpack has stopped Pacific through one quarter of play. We'll be back after these messages with Nevada leading 10-0 here in Stockton. Welcome back to Stockton, California. A programming note tonight on News Channel 8. We got Murphy Brown at 7:30, followed by the ABC Saturday Night Movie and a preview of the new Paula Poundstone show. Murphy Brown at 7:30, the ABC movie at 8 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock, the Paula Poundstone show.
On the last play of the first quarter, Jim Jones, the defensive tackle for the Wolfpack, was shaken up, and he is just now coming off the field. It looks like he's going to be okay, but that would be a big blow to an already depleted Wolfpack defense.
There's Jones. Another one of the Wolfpack players with a strange haircut, but Jones has been bothered by a shoulder injury throughout the entire season. He has played hurt, and according to the Wolfpack defensive coaches, has played very well this season, even though he doesn't have as many sacks as he had last season. The defensive coaches think that he's done a great job because he's been double and triple teamed. He's out for this particular play as Pacific is now in a 2nd and 10 situation. Wheelahan fakes. He looks for his running back out of the backfield and finds him. That's Mike Morales, the tight end for Pacific, lined up in the backfield and catches a swing pass from Wheelahan, and it'll be 3rd down and about 3 yards to go. Here's Wheelahan rolling to his right and finding Morales just in front of Dan Leadup, who's, speaking of injured players, Leadup still playing on a very tender ankle.
That was a well-designed play right there. A little fake pitch which froze the outside contain, and Morales coming across.
3rd and 1. Pacific trying to keep its drive alive. The ball goes inside to Green, and he is up very close to the 1st down. I believe he has it.
Forward progress, he has it by a good yard.
Stanley Green out of New Orleans, Louisiana, 5'10", 185-pound junior. He gets the 1st down, and Pacific trying to get something going with 4:12 to go in the 1st half. If you just joined us, it's 10-0 in favor of Nevada. Nevada got a field goal from Armando Avina and a touchdown pass on its last possession from Chris Vargas to Brian Reeves.
And by moving the ball 24 yards on this drive, Pacific is now probably just into the plus yardage category.
Correction, I said 4:12 left to go in the 1st half. 14:12 was a big difference. 1st down for Pacific, and there's the blitz, and the Wolfpack swallows up Wheelahan. The ball is down. The Wolfpack says there was a fumble, but the line judge is saying the ball was down by contact.
Wheelahan, just feeling the backside pressure, started to go down. Probably didn't have to take the sack that early, because he's Leadup is picked up.
Dan Leadup came in, and he was able, I think you're absolutely right, Paul. He saw him out of the corner of his eye and went down, and there was great penetration there, not just from Leadup, but from a number of other Wolfpack players. The Wolfpack defense continues to look pretty impressive at this point. It's 2nd down and 19. Wheelahan goes inside to Green, and he's wrapped up by Miller, and there's a loose ball. And once again, the officials are saying that the ball is down by contact with the ground. The Nevada contingent on the other side of the field, and it's a pretty large one, is booing. Let's take a look at the replay. We'll be able to see if Green fumbled this ball or not. Great play by Miller. He wraps the running back up there. The ball squirts loose, and you really can't tell from that angle whether Green was down or not. Here's a better angle of the play.
Yeah, he was down. That's a good call from that angle.
3rd and 19. Great play, though, by David Miller, wrapping the ball carrier up. 3rd and long. Wheelahan back to throw. He's in trouble again, and he's about to go down. Stays up on his feet. He's got a wide open man. That's Morales. He's finally knocked out of bounds by Darnell Hassan. A great play by Wheelahan as he gets away from a number of Wolfpack players. It looked like he was down a couple of different times.
And part of the reason that Morales was so open is that the cornerbacks thought he was wrapped up right here. They thought the play was over.
But Wheelahan does a great job, dumps the ball off to his man. And for the first time in this game, Pacific is in Nevada territory.
Correction on that receiver. That's Bill Cox, a tight end, who had slipped out into the flat. 47.
Another Pacific player is down. We can't quite tell who that might be. We've got a number of players shaken up in this game, but fortunately no one seriously injured. That's number 13, Kerry Brown, a wide receiver from Boynton Beach, Florida. He looks to be all right, as Pacific's offense looks to be all right after a good play by Wheelahan as he does a Houdini act to get away from a couple of Wolfpack players.
Brown probably just has an elbow stinger, and you'll see him back in a play or two.
1st and 10 for Pacific from the Nevada 30-yard line. Wheelahan trying to keep this drive alive for Pacific. The Wolfpack defense trying to keep the shutout going. Wheelahan hands off to Green. Once again, he is stacked up but falls forward for about 4 yards. That's something we saw a lot last week, Paul, where Weaver State's running backs would get stacked up near the line of scrimmage but would fall forward and end up with a 3 or 4 yard gain.
That's true. The Wolfpack needs to concentrate on trying to stop forward progress and push him back. Easier said than done, however.
That's right. It's 2nd and 6.
Well, this drive kept alive by that Houdini play, as you referred to, by Wheelahan. See if Pacific can take advantage.
Wolfpack linebackers look like they might be blitzing on this play. Yes, they are. Here comes Lita. The draw play inside. And Green gets away from one player and goes down inside Wolfpack territory.
The draw play which hurt the Wolfpack so much against Weber State. This could have been a shovel pass. Let's take a look. No, it was a straight
Simple draw play, and that's a good way to beat a blitz. And Aaron Blackwell not able to hang on to Green, and Green is able to scoot on through. And he's down to inside the 15-yard line of Nevada and Pacific, in a position now to make this a much closer ball game. It's 10-0 Nevada with 11:16 to go in the first half. Wheelahan with a long count. Back to Green, and he's up near the 11-yard line.
Simple enough looking play, but it's good for 3, possibly 4 yards.
Pacific has divvied up the running back responsibilities quite a bit this year among Darrell Rogers and Stanley Green, also Howard Blackwell, who we have not seen so far in this game. He has a back injury. Also Ozzie Wallace and Jesse Campbell have also received the ball, but so far Green has been the workhorse. 2nd and 6 from the Nevada 11-yard line. Wheelahan with a fake. He's looking for a man. He's got him a good tackle.
Clayton
Lopez with a big hit, but Darrell Rogers is able to hang on to the ball, and he's up near a first down. He is a little bit short, about a yard short. Here's the replay. Wheelahan on the play action. He's able to find Rogers. Here comes Clayton Lopez with the stick.
Key play coming up right here on a 3rd and 2. If the Wolfpack can stop, then Pacific will likely kick a field goal. But if they get inside the 5, then they're in touchdown territory.
That pass was partially deflected, but still completed for the close to a first down. And
that's very close.
Rogers very close. As we're inside 10 minutes to go here in the first half, the officials call an official timeout to measure this. If he's short, then Chuck Shelton will have a tough decision to make, whether to go for a field goal to get on the board or whether to go for the touchdown and try to stay closer to the Wolfpack, which leads 10-0. Here comes the measurement.
Looks to be about a ball length short, and you're right. Chuck Shelton is going to have to make a decision here, down 10 points.
They have been able to run the ball fairly effectively, and I think you're absolutely right, Paul. They'll be short by, I think, possibly length, less than the length of a football.
6 inches. But it still is short, and they have to make a decision.
Well, Wheelahan is still in the game, and Chuck Shelton apparently is going to go for it. It's homecoming here at Pacific. Tigers fans pulling for their team, and they want them to go for it. And Chuck Shelton says, all right, fellas, let's go for it. Rogers and Green, the men in the backfield. 4th and less than a yard. The ball goes to Rogers, and he's up forward, and he has the first down. He stumbled, but was able to keep his balance and fall forward for the first down on the quick count. Here's Wheelahan giving the ball to Rogers. And as you can see, he was stumbling. And in college football, once your knee is down, you are down. It's not like in pro football where you can get back up if you haven't been touched. But Rogers did a nice job to keep his balance and lunge forward for the first down. It's 1st and goal from the 4-yard line for Pacific. Back to Green. He goes nowhere. Well, one encouraging thing for the Wolfpack defense has been on so many of these running plays. It hasn't just been one man making the stop, Paul. It's been a number of guys near the ball, and that's a significant improvement over last week.
Wolfpack is gang tackling, especially anything that comes inside between the tackles.
As you can see, good penetration. And that's Garnett Overby with the stop. 2nd and goal. Rogers in motion. Wheelahan back. He looks for Rogers. Rogers had it for a moment and dropped it. Clayton Lopez and Rogers made some contact, but the officials properly did not make a call on that play. There was no pass interference.
They're both entitled to go for the ball, and I think you'll see that Lopez really didn't get a hand on anything. They were both diving for it.
Good defense there. Rogers had it for a second. Wheelahan may have thrown that ball a little bit too hard. It's a tough catch to make when you're going one way and the ball's coming another. Now another third down and short situation for Pacific. Wheelahan back to throw. He looks for it and it's incomplete. He went for Kerry Brown. Brown again was able to get a fingertip on the ball, and now Chuck Shelton is going to decide to go for the field goal on 4th and goal from the 3-yard line. Again, here's the replay.
Very important goal line stand by the Wolfpack. I don't know how much they actually stood and how much it was just a little bit of out of sync between the quarterback and the receivers, but here's the field goal attempt.
The 20-yarder, and it's good, and Pacific is on the board with 8:33 to go in the first half. Nevada's lead has been trimmed to 7. The score, Nevada 10, Pacific 3. We'll be back. Here on Saturday afternoon on a beautiful day for football, a little bit on the hot side, but a beautifully clear day for football here in Stockton, California. The Nevada leads Pacific 10-3. Jason Scouten with the kick, and that's way deep, and Damon Lynch wisely decides to down that ball. A 77-yard drive for Pacific on that last drive, resulting in a 20-yard field goal by Scouten. And Paul, let's take a look at the first quarter statistics.
Prior to that 77-yard drive, most of which happened early in the second quarter, Pacific minus 1 yard total offense as opposed to the Wolfpack with 142. So Chuck Shelton has to be a little pleased to only be down 10-3 at this point.
And Jeff Horton has to be a little bit pleased that his offense, as usual, is racking up big numbers, 142 yards. You project that out over 4 quarters, that's pretty close to 600 yards in total offense.
Chris Vargas, 8 for 9 passing for 73 yards and a touchdown.
And Vargas takes the Wolfpack back on its own 20-yard line. The fake. He goes back to throw. Passing complete, and it bounces into the hand of Pacific's Jeff Russell. How many times have we seen that this year, Paul? Vargas has had a number of passes intercepted, but some of them, in fact, the majority of them have not been his fault. That ball bounced right into the hands of Jeff Russell.
One of the only major categories that Vargas is not leading the nation in is passing efficiency. And passing efficiency is penalized deeply by interceptions. Once again, off Reeves' hands and into, is that Russell?
Yes, Jeff Russell with the interception. Darius Cunningham just off Brian Reeves, and Russell, the right man in the right spot, gets the interception, and Pacific now has the ball on the Nevada 35-yard line, and suddenly this game in which Nevada seemed to be completely in control is now in question. Wheelahan goes back, he has a man, and Kerry Brown just flat dropped it.
He had 6 right after the turnover, as you see so often. They went for the whole enchilada.
The Wolfpack defensive secondary, which has had its troubles. And that is Tim Rux, number 32, just trying to hang on.
The replay shows that it wasn't that easy of a catch, however, a catchable ball. He had to reach back a little bit over his shoulder. Ball should have been caught.
It looked like it bounced off his face mask. 2nd and 10. A big break for Nevada. Ball goes inside to Green, and he goes through, and he's very close to the first down up by the 25-yard line.
Well, the homecoming crowd down here in Stagg Stadium, be it as it may, is enjoying themselves right now.
So far, it's been a very competitive game. The Wolfpack found itself down early, or found itself ahead early, and now Pacific is now coming back. Green running hard, and he's tackled up around the 25-yard line.
Steve Bryant just screened off the tackle, and the result was plus 10 more yards.
1st and 10 for Pacific from the Nevada 25-yard line. Wheelahan gives the ball back to Green. And Green's up there, another first down around the 17-yard line. No Pacific running back has rushed for 100 yards or more in a game, but so far Green is rushing very hard, running very hard, and he's on a pace right now where he would get close to 100 yards. Green picks up 7 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
And he had 0 in the first quarter. all second quarter yards.
Wheelahan back inside to Green. Green up close to the first down.
This is a Shelton Forte type of situation. Drive, get a field goal, create something on defense, and turn it into offensive points.
Stanley Green has gained 220 yards on the season, and he has been a workhorse so far for the University of Pacific, as he's now 3rd down and 1 for the Tigers. Wheelahan inside to Green, and Andy Boo stops him. I don't think he got the first down.
And could be decision time again. He had to get over the 15-yard line.
I don't think he got
and he
there,
is short.
Paul.
Andy Boo filled the hole and stuck him.
Well, I think if you're Chuck Shelton, you want to get some points on the board, but once again, Shelton looks like he's gambling. He's going to go for it on 4th and short. He's worked before from the 15-yard line, or just beyond the 15-yard line. Wheelahan inside to Rogers, and he pulls forward. He has enough for the first down.
Boo met him right at the line of scrimmage, but he was able to slide off, keep his balance, and pick up the first downs.
Well, Chuck Shelton has gambled a couple of times, and he has won both times, and now he has a 1st and 10 on the Nevada 13-yard line.
The first gamble only resulted in a little bit surer field goal range. However, they were not able to stick it in the end zone as the Wolfpack held 3 downs from the 3-yard line.
Pacific trying to cash in on an interception. He took over on the Nevada 35-yard line. Now it's 1st and 10. Wheelahan back to throw, and there's a fine catch by Greg Weston, number 85, a freshman from Corona, California. That was pretty good defense by the Wolfpack defensive secondary.
Almost looked like a little early contact, and Weston still held on. No, it was good defensive play, good catch.
Darnell Hassan with a good pop. But Weston hangs on to the ball, and it's 1st and goal.
They got to the 3 last time, and now they're to the 2. Let's see if the Wolfpack defense can stiffen right here.
Rogers the up man, Green the back man, and Rogers gets the ball. He's very close to the goal line, and he stopped just short.
Pacific runners showing good second effort after the initial hit. They're able to pick up some additional yardage.
There's less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. This has been a very fast-moving game. Usually Nevada games end up taking a long time because there are so many passes thrown and so many first downs and so many touchdowns. But so far, as you mentioned, Paul, this is a Chuck Shelton type game. 10-3 with 4:38 and counting to go. And Pacific with a chance to tie the game on this possession. Back to Rogers, touchdown.
Well, if the extra point is successful, Pacific is going to have this game tied with 4.5 minutes to play in the half.
Darrell Rogers, 6 feet, 225 pounds, kind of a bowling ball type back, and he's a tough guy to stop in short yardage situations, and he converts for the University of Pacific. And Jason Scouten on to try the extra point to tie this game. There's a flag down as the ball gets deflected. Garnett Overby ran right into Scouten afterwards, but that was after the whistle was sounded.
I think it's going to be a no play.
Illegal procedure against Pacific. That'll push them back 5 yards, so it'll be a slightly longer point after touchdown. Here's a look at the touchdown one more time. Simple off-tackle move, and there goes Darrell Rogers into the end zone.
Did a nice job of sliding off the initial pressure and slanting into the zone.
Well, Scouten will now try a 25-yard point after attempt, and that ball scoots through. Not a pretty kick, but it went through, and it's now a 10-10 ball game with 4:31 to go in the first half. We'll be back in Stockton, California after these messages. We've got ourselves a 10-10 ball game with 4:31 to go in the first half after Darrell Rogers scores from 1 yard out to tie things up. That came after a Chris Vargas intercepted pass, a ball that bounced off the hands of Brian Reed. Damon Lynch fumbles the ball in the end zone, decides to take it back out. That might have been a mistake. Pacific with the tackle inside the 15-yard line. There are flags down on the play, however.
The Wolfpack, a -13 on turnovers for the season, and has given up 2 turnovers so far this afternoon.
Well, we'll be back. We've got a player down. We'll be back after these messages from Stockton, California. So stay tuned. A 10-10 ball game with 4:26 to go in the first half. We've got a 10-10 ball game with 4:26 to go in the first half between the University of Nevada and the University of Pacific. Matt Trontel, the injured player for the Wolfpack, he was helped off the field. There was a penalty against the Wolfpack. The Pack will now start on its own 7-yard line with 4:26 to go in the first half. Chris Vargas and his team now finds himself in a tie ball game. Vargas back to pass. He goes deep, and that's well overthrown to Michael Stevens, and that's pass interference, or maybe a late hit on number 42, Dwayne Thomas, who popped Michael Stevens. That'll be a 15-yard penalty.
No, Rob, I think they're going to call it an uncatchable ball. One official threw the flag, then consulted with the other, and they decided that that ball could not be caught. So
So they have waved off the flag. There you can see Thomas pop Michael Stevens. It was an uncatchable ball, but it was also a borderline late hit, too.
True. It could have been a personal foul, but...
As it turns out, it'll now be 2nd and 10 for the Wolfpack from its own 7-yard line.
Oh, the momentum. The Wolfpack had it entirely in their favor in the first quarter, and now in the second quarter it's gone completely over the other side of the pendulum to Pacific.
Pacific wants to play a more slowed-down, grinded-out game. The Pack is a high-octane offense, and here's Chris Vargas finding Brian Reeves up near the 20-yard line. That's enough for a first down. There's 4 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the first half. Nevada's got a long way to go to score a touchdown, but this offense can move very, very quickly. As we said, they've had 14 drives of 80 yards or more, and Paula, you've seen it as often as anyone. This Wolfpack offense, even if they're going 80 yards, can go there in 2 or 3 minutes.
They need to get the tempo of the game back into their favor right now. Play a little of their style of ball, mix it up, and put some points on the board, preferably.
There's Zeke Moore on the delay up around the 23-yard line. The running back duties so far today have been split between Moore and Marcellus Krishan. We have not seen Dedrick Holmes, and here's a replay on that carry by Zeke Moore, in which a Pacific player was injured. Moore gains about 3 yards on the play.
A lot of injuries so far. We've stopped the game about 4 or 5 times for injuries.
Fortunately, none of them have seemed very serious, although on that last kickoff, Matt Trontel had to be helped off the field. He had some sort of injury. It looked with his leg. It looked like it was with his leg or his knee. You can't quite tell who the specific player is that is down. But the Wolfpack trying to get itself untracked. Its offense has moved the ball very consistently. But on its last possession, a deflected pass from Chris Vargas that bounced off the hands of Brian Reeves and landed into the hands of Pacific defensive back Jeff Russell. That led to a 35-yard drive, a very short drive for Pacific, who now tied this ball game up at 10 apiece.
Let's look ahead to San Jose a little bit next week, Rob. Of course, if the Wolfpack does not win this game, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But if they do, they're down to 2 conference games left, or 2 conference games that can't count in the standings. And San Jose is one of the undefeated teams in the conference right now at 2-0. Also, the last chance for Wolfpack fans to see this high-octane offense, which leads the nation, live in Mackey Stadium next week on Saturday.
Should be a great game. San Jose State's one of the top teams in the Big West Conference. And there's Mark Faida, the defensive lineman for Pacific, who's helped off the field. It looks like we may be done with him for the... And 6 for the Wolfpack. Vargas with the fake. He's looking for Michael Stevens, but instead he's going to run the ball. Vargas running out of room. He gets pushed out of bounds after picking up a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down for Nevada.
Vargas's lack of speed showed on that one. He got run down by a linebacker. When he turned the corner, it looked like he could pick up 10 yards, and he had to settle for 2.
There was good coverage by Pacific on Michael Stevens. That's who he was looking for. Chris had a lot of green space to cover. He was able to get out of bounds without getting popped too badly. Now 3rd down and 3 for the Wolfpack. Vargas back to throw. He's in trouble. That's Carter who nails him, and that ball goes out of bounds. Well, we talked about him before the game. Grant Carter, 6'3", 230 pounds. He's one of the top linebackers in the Big West Conference, and he forces a Nevada punt as he comes in from the outside. Chris doesn't see him, but he felt him. The ball goes out of bounds, and it's now 4th down.
The last thing the Wolfpack wants is Carter coming from the blind side of their quarterback, Chris Vargas.
Vargas has taken some pops, but he is a very durable quarterback. Not the biggest guy, but he has very rarely been injured in his career. Arvaldo Avina with a low snap and a low kick that gets bounced around the 35-yard line. Pacific gets the ball outside. Darius Cunningham with the return, and Pacific is in good position on its own 42-yard line with 3:16 to go in this first half. We got ourselves a tie ball game at 10. We'll be back. They started the game a little bit early.
That was not the full 65-second TV timeout, Rob.
Well, Green got the ball, Stanley Green, and picked up 4 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 6 from the Nevada 47-yard line. Correction, the Pacific 47-yard line, and there's another handoff to Green. As now we've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this first half. Again, a very quick-moving first half, the kind of game that Chuck Shelton of the University of Pacific wants to play. And by Nevada standards, a very low-scoring game, 10-10, with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the first half. 3rd down now for Pacific, 3rd and about 4. The Wolfpack defense trying to stop Pacific and try to get its high-powered offense back on the field and try to score one more time as we reach the 2-minute mark here in the first half. Wheelahan goes back. He finds his man. That's on 1st down. Damon Bowers, a freshman from Alamo, California, catches the ball, and Pacific keeps the ball and keeps the drive alive, heading into Nevada territory.
This 3rd down conversion is going to make the difference of which team gets a chance to score late in the second quarter and take momentum with them to the locker room.
And one thing to keep in mind, Pacific won the coin toss and decided to defer, so the Tigers will get the ball back in the second half. There's the catch and the 1st down for Pacific on the Nevada 45-yard line. And he wants a timeout. He was running out of time on the play clock, and Wheelahan wisely calls a timeout with 1:34 to go in the first half. We'll stay right here at Stockton, California, where Pacific is now in a position to take the lead into Nevada territory on the 46-yard line.
You look back at the one turnover in and out of the hands of Brian Reeves that resulted in the 7 points and the field position, which has led to this scenario. Pacific looking good. This is their type of ball game.
Greg Wheelahan talking to the University of Pacific coaching staff. Rob Nicoleski here with Paul Stewart. Dan Gustin not with us. Dan's under the weather. He's got a touch of the flu. He's not feeling very well, but we are plowing on without him. We hope Dan feels a lot better soon. There's a look at the Nevada contingent, and there's a look at the University of Pacific Tiger mascot. A reminder, the Wolfpack will be back. Wolfpack team and coaching staff will be back. They're taking buses to and from Stockton. They'll be back late this evening. And tomorrow at Hooters at 12:15, they're going to have the annual Wing Bowl where the offense takes on the defense. And
they better cook up a few wings.
Last year, I believe they had quite a few leftover chicken carcasses.
There's some chickens heading for the hills on this one.
Wheelahan back to throw. Looks for his receiver. That's behind his man, Trent Julian. Julian was open, but did not look for the ball in time, or whether Wheelahan threw the ball early, we can't tell, but Julian was open for a second, but Wheelahan did not get him the ball. It'll be 2nd down and 10 with 1:31 to go in the first half. Wheelahan has some of the plays strapped to his wrist, and he was looking at one of them as he was in the huddle. We'll see what he calls here on 2nd and 10. From the Nevada 46-yard line, a 10-10 game, 1:31 to go first half. Wheelahan goes back to that pass, nearly intercepted by Tim Ruck.
Pacific uses 2 field goal kickers, Russell and Schouten. And I'm looking, and their longest successful field goal of the year is 37 yards. So they've got a ways to go to get into field goal range.
And there's a nice play by Tim Rux. Rux had 3 interceptions in the Boise State game, and he nearly had one right there. 3rd and 10, another 3rd and 10 situation. The Nevada defense has had its troubles, Paul, this season, has had primarily problems on 3rd down situations. In the Northern Illinois game, Northern Illinois converted an amazing number of 3rd down situations. Green on the inside, but he's not going to convert anything here. Steve Bryant wrestles him to the ground. Bryant looking like one of the rodeo cowboys in the Reno Rodeo, sending Green down to the ground, and the Wolfpack offense should be able to get the ball back with 1:18 to go in the first half. This has been an old-fashioned football game in many ways, the kind of football game I'm sure a guy like Steve Bryant, who loves to play. There he wraps up Green for little or no gain. It'll be 4th down from the 44-yard line of Nevada.
Brian Reeves has not sprung a long punt return yet this year. They've all been in the 2, 5, 10, 12-yard categories. If the Wolfpack wants to get field position, this would be a good time. 1:18 to go. They need to get somewhere on out around the 40-yard line to have enough time to score.
I think under more normal circumstances, if you had an average type offense, this might not be a bad time to go for a block kick. But when you've got a high-powered, productive offense like the Wolfpacks, I don't think they're going to go for the block here. I think they're going to try to set things up and try to get the offense, which has 2 timeouts left, time to get the ball, even though there is just 1 minute and 18 seconds left to go in this game.
The Wolfpack of last year, very prolific at blocking kicks, does not have a kick block yet this year, so I doubt if we're going to see one here.
Where's Brock Marion when you need him? 4th down and 8.
Somewhere in the Cowboys' defensive secondary.
There's a high kick, and Reed's going to let this one go, but it looks like it might die. No, it goes into the end zone, and we'll stay here in Stockton as the Wolfpack offense will take over on its own 20-yard line, 80 yards away from a go-ahead touchdown.
Wolfpack has gone 80 yards to score many times. Will 1:10 be enough? Could be, and it also could get them into Armando Avina field goal range.
Avina, as we mentioned earlier, has been very effective, even though he was thrust into the job by the 3rd game of the season. He has done a very good job and has been very effective. And there's a look at some of the fans here and some of the Little Tiger fans here at homecoming, the University of Pacific here in Stockton. Vargas back to throw. He's in a little bit of trouble, dances around, finds a man. He's got Mike Sr. Sr. trying to get to the sideline to get out of bounds, but he's not able to. He gets wrestled to the ground by Dwayne Thomas, but a big gain by Mike Sr. down to the 40-yard line.
The clock will stop for the movement of the chains, and then it'll be kicked back in.
There's Senior with the reception, and he tried to get to the sideline, but was not able to.
Senior catching that ball in traffic.
Vargas back again. We've got a penalty flag down. He finds Reeves, who gets out of bounds, but we'll see what the flag is.
Could be some kind of a motion penalty on the Wolfpack.
The University of Pacific coaches are motioning that it's against Nevada. We'll see what the officials have to say about it. A lot of times that's often the case in a quick no-huddle offense. The players don't get set. And that was a legal procedure. Nevada, we push back to its own 35-yard line. There's Jeff Horton along with backup quarterback Mike Maxwell. Horton not looking very satisfied at this point. Things were looking very good for Nevada after 1 quarter of play. It was 10-0, but so far in the 2nd quarter, Pacific has controlled the ball and controlled the clock. 52 seconds to go in the first half, a 10-10 game.
And if nothing else, they've controlled the pace of the game, which is exactly what their game plan is. The Wolfpack needs to start dictating the pace in the second half, and they're not going to get the ball first to do it.
Well, in this first half, Nevada's going to try to get some points on the board before we get to halftime. Pass over the middle, complete to Michael Stevens. He's about 2 yards short of the first down. This might be a good time to use a timeout. 42 seconds and counting. And Nevada does take a timeout.
That was the same exact play that was nullified on the penalty, and the Wolfpack does that a lot. If they're successful with a play, it gets called back, boom, they come right back to it.
Well, Vargas very effectively gets the ball to Stevens. Vargas got popped on the play. He feels all right. He's up and walking around talking to the coaches as he hits Stevens, who's been relatively quiet in this game. There's Steve Hagan. He is the blonde-haired guy on the right of your screen. He's the offensive coordinator. He calls all the plays. Vargas then has the option of checking off, and also the head coach, Jeff Horton, can then send in a play or overrule any play that Hagan or Vargas may want to call. And there is one of the Wolfpack players. That's Matt Trontel. And it looks like he's got an injured knee as he's going off the field. Trontel is also Vargas's roommate. He shares a house with Vargas and Tom Matter. And Trontel out of Belco, Nevada, he's done for the day.
And when that knee is wrapped up with ice around it, that's a bad sign.
Trontel mostly plays on special teams. He's a backup defensive player.
39 seconds left, and the Wolfpack still has 2 timeouts to work with.
And here's a Pacific player being wheeled off. That's Mark Faaida, who was taken off the field a moment ago. There's been a lot of injuries in this game, and apparently a couple of them are of the serious nature. Back to live action. 2nd down and 2 for Nevada. 39 seconds to go. Vargas back to throw. Another flag is down. He swings one out to Krishan, who nearly drops it and is then tackled out of bounds. This could be another illegal procedure penalty.
I think one of the Nevada receivers is lining up in the wrong zone or on the line of scrimmage when they're supposed to be a yard deep, because those flags have both come from the same line judge or field judge.
I think you're right, Paul, because there doesn't seem to be any motion right before the snap, like someone's moving too early or something like that. And the Wolfpack gets pushed back again, and Jeff Horton finds himself now in a 2nd and 7 situation with 31 seconds to go in a 10-10 game.
Coaches will tell you that Vargas changes the play at the line of scrimmage approximately 60% of the time.
Vargas in trouble. He escapes it. He goes long. He's got Reeves wide open. There is no one near Brian Reeves, and the Wolfpack gets an easy touchdown with 22 seconds to go in the first half.
The nearest defender to him was Chucky Bibbs. I don't know if that was his primary responsibility. Up.
Another
That's
flag down. That'll be, I believe, too much celebration from Brian Reeves.
Well, Reeves took a little nosedive into the end zone, and he has not had one of those for about 5 games. But that was a significant, significant play.
A blown coverage by Pacific. Maybe the only thing I could think, Paul, is that maybe the defensive back, when he saw Vargas flushed out of the pocket, thought Vargas was going to run with the ball again. But there is no one from here to Petaluma between Brian Reeves and the defensive backs, and Reeves scores an easy touchdown with 22 seconds to go. Here's the little action that Reeves did at the end of the touchdown, and that must have been why they called the penalty, although he was off the field of play.
Well, we wondered if the Wolfpack could score in just a minute 18. Well, guess what, Rob? There's 22 ticks left on the clock, so they scored in less than a minute.
A minute and 4 seconds, if my math is correct. Armando Avina kicks the extra point, and Vargas hits Brian Reeves. That combination has struck twice now, and with 22 seconds to go, Nevada has a 7-point lead. With the penalty, Nevada will be kicking off from its own 20-yard line.
If you're going to get one of those, this is not a bad time to get it. With only 22 seconds left, I'm not sure Pacific and their offense can make it happen like the Wolfpack did.
And looking a little farther ahead, the Pacific's offense, which is not known to be nearly as much of a high production offense like the Wolfpack's, I would think going into this game, even before the halftime area that we're reaching, the Wolfpack people must have been thinking, if we can score 30 points, that should be enough to get us to win. At this point, the Pack is on a pace to score 34.
Well, Vargas and Reeves and Matt are talking about it on the sidelines and deciding what happened. Pacific should be discussing what happened because it was obviously blown coverage. Very unusual in a 2-minute drill type of situation where you find a receiver that wide open, that deep in the secondary.
There was obviously either a miscommunication and one of the defensive backs didn't know what coverage to be in, or, as I said, when Vargas rolled, maybe the defensive back went up thinking that Vargas is going to run the ball, because Chris has run the ball 3 or 4 times in this first half. But either way, I'm sure the defensive coaches are telling the cornerback in that situation, look, you're not going to be able to tackle the guy anyway. Your main responsibility is to keep from getting a big play, and the Wolfpack was able to strike big there. And you're talking about swings of momentum. Things in the first quarter going Nevada's way, the second quarter all Pacific, and it looked like we were heading into a first half tied at 10. Well, now the Wolfpack has a 7-point lead with 22 seconds to go. There's the kickoff. It's taken by Jesse Campbell, who's tackled. up around the 38-yard line.
Avina had to kick that one off from the 20 following the celebration penalty. Ball was blown off the tee once and gave Campbell pretty good field position, but that was really good coverage when you project the field out.
That's right. It would have been about, take away the 15 yards, and that would have been around the 23-yard line. So good kick coverage by the Wolfpack despite the penalty. And with 16 seconds to go from the 38-yard line, we'll see if Wheelahan bothers to throw the ball or if Pacific will be content to just down the ball and get out of here at halftime. No, Wheelahan back to throw. Under some pressure, he's got time, and he's got a man open, but it's overthrown. That was intended for Kerry Brown, but the Wolfpack had coverage from Clayton Lopez, number 6.
Guess Tim Ruck's with him.
Yeah, correction.
No, Darnell Hassan. Step-for-step coverage.
Kerry Brown is a tall, lanky receiver, 6'4". He had the position.
The ball was arriving to the inside and could have been caught.
10 seconds to go. Wheelahan back. He steps up in the pocket. He goes long again. He goes back to Brown, and he was not able to hang on to the ball. Kerry Brown, he was looking to the official asking for pass interference, but Kerry, you got to hang on to that ball, buddy.
I think Kerry's a little frustrated because there's 2 catchable balls right there. Both times he looked at the official, but no call.
It's been 2 dangerous plays for the Wolfpack in which Wheelahan has been able to step up in the pocket and find a man, and that's just a job that Brown did not do. 3rd and 10 with 3 seconds to go, and now Wheelahan decides to down it. There's a flag down now. We'll see what the penalty is about before we...
Cannot end on a defensive penalty, but it can end on an offensive penalty.
Illegal motion against Pacific. I'm sure the Wolfpack will decline that. This should be the end of the first half. Let's get the official word. Chuck Shelton saw his team in a 10-10 tie, but now sees his team as they leave the field from their homecoming game at halftime, down 17-10 thanks to a late touchdown pass from Chris Vargas to Brian Reeves. Nevada at the halfway mark of this game leads 17-10. Jeff Horton jogging off the field in a much better mood than he was just a few moments ago as the Wolfpack leads 17-10. Now it's time for the Maury Distributing halftime report. Let's go to our News Channel 8 studios with Dana Wagner with all the updates from college football today. Take it away, Dana.
All right, Rob Nikolewski, thanks, from Stockton, filling in admirably for the sick Dan Gustin today. And it looks like the Wolfpack gets a big score right before halftime there. And they have a little bit of momentum heading into the second half. They look a little bit out of sorts this afternoon, especially in that second quarter. And we'll get back to the second half in a few minutes. But first, we want to bring you up to date on some of the scores and highlights from around college football this afternoon. And we'll do that in just a minute. But first, this timeout.
Right after Monday Night Football, some people like to rap.
We're back. Yeah, baseball going down in popularity. That's hogwash. We need Kennesaw Mountain Landers. Who's going to beat him now? Ooh. I'll start with you, Larry.
Join me, Rob Nikolewski, for Monday Night Sports Wrap, right after Monday Night Football. You can agree with us. You can disagree with us. Just watch us on News Channel 8, the team you know and trust.
At News Channel 8, the halftime score, Nevada Wolfpack on top 17-10 over Pacific. We'll be back to the second half in just a few minutes, but first we have some scores and highlights for you. The first game of the season the Wolfpack played, they played against Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Badgers of the Big Ten. Well, the big game of today featured Wisconsin and Michigan. Wisconsin coming in with a 6-1 record, trying to beat Michigan for the first time since 1981 at Camp Randall Stadium with a game tied at 3. Terrell Fletcher takes it in 12 yards, 10-3 Wisconsin. Then Todd Collins goes up top to Alexander from 7 yards out. The game tied at 10-all. Michigan trying to go for the kill, but Collins is drilled as he releases. Jeff Messinger with the pick. He had 2 against the Wolfpack. He had the key one here today. It seals the victory today for Wisconsin. They beat Michigan 13-10. The first time they beat Michigan since 1981. They have a 7-1 record, and they are still in the Big Ten race. People very excited at Camp Randall Stadium, and they stormed the field after the game. Here's some of the scores now from college football today. Number 1, Florida, easy over Wake Forest, 54-0. Heisman Trophy candidate Charlie Ward, the quarterback for Florida State, went out at the end of the first half with some bruised ribs, but it looks like he will be okay to play next week. Number 2, Notre Dame, they roll over Navy today, 58-27. Ohio State, they are also in the Big Ten race. They are undefeated on the season. They're ranked 3rd in the country. They are beating Penn State at halftime by a score of 17-6. Number 4, Miami, easy over Temple today, 42-7 at halftime. Number 5, Alabama, shutting out Southern Mississippi. That is a halftime score, folks, 16-0. This is also a halftime score. Number 6, Nebraska at halftime over number 20, Colorado, 21-10. That is at halftime. Number 7, UCLA travels to Pasadena to take on UCLA tonight in the Rose Bowl. That will be a key matchup. Whoever wins will have the inside track in returning to the Rose Bowl on January 1st. Number 8, Tennessee, all over South Carolina, 55-3. Another halftime score for you. Number 9, Auburn, by a field goal over Arkansas. Actually, that game has now moved into the 4th quarter, 17-14. Georgia lost today by a touchdown to number 10, Florida. Eric Redd had 183 yards rushing for the Gators as the Gators go on for the victory today over Florida. Still just that one blemish on their record. Number 11, Texas A&M, 17-6 over SMU in the 4th quarter. Syracuse plays host tonight to number 13, West Virginia. It was number 25, Kansas State, 21-7 over number 14, Oklahoma, in a bit of an upset this afternoon. North Carolina State in another upset over Virginia, 34-29. Virginia has lost twice now in the season. They were ranked 16th. They will drop, I'm sure, from that ranking. Washington, number 19, Washington travels to Arizona State. 2 teams from the Pac-10 needing victories. That game will be played tonight. There you see the Michigan loss. Michigan falls to 4-4 on the season. Unbelievable. Number 23, Indiana, shuts down Michigan State and gets the victory 10-0. This game at halftime, Oregon on top of Washington State, 19-14 again. That is a halftime score. Cincinnati defeats Memphis State by 3, 23-20. Wagner on top of Maurice, 22-6. And we have some other scores from the West, but we will try to get to those in the second part of our halftime report. When we come back, we will go out to UNR basketball practice. Plus, we also plan to have a report, an incredible story from Washington State on a high school football player. All that and more coming up right after this break. Welcome back to spacious Studio B here at News Channel 8. The score at halftime, Nevada 17. They get a long touchdown pass right before halftime, and they take a 17-10 lead over Pacific at halftime in Stockton. We'll get you back to the game in just a few minutes. Time to switch gears a bit and talk Wolfpack hoops. It might seem far off, but last night opened the season nationwide for colleges on the road to the Final Four. Nevada, coming off a 9-17 record of a year ago, is under the tutelage of first-year head coach Pat Foster. He comes to the Wolfpack from Houston, and before that, Lamar. The veteran coach is used to the nature of the first day of practice.
Well, I think the players are playing awfully hard. You know, it's a typical first day where the guys are uptight, the coaches are uptight, and everybody's trying to do the best they can. And when you're in that frame of mind, it's hard to play. But that shows the character of the team, I think, is good. And just in another week, we'll look a lot better.
Foster's approach seems to be take one day at a time. The Pack only returns 5 players, none of whom started last season. Getting ready for their second season in the Big West, the Pack had to come out ready to play this year.
The overall attitude of the team is very good. I feel that the conditioning program has really helped them get to this point. You know, but they haven't tired out today like teams normally do on the first day, so I think that's encouraging. The enthusiasm is very good. Our players are really into everything as much as you could hope that they would be.
Foster's a great coach, and they have a lot of JC transfers coming into the program. The Wolfpack should be an interesting club to watch this season. And we have an incredible story of a football player from Washington State. He plays center for the Redmond High School football team. Eric Johnson has the story of Jamie Tachiyama.
I've always wanted to just fit in and be one of the guys. Through all of it, I think it's always told me what my limits are and what my limits aren't.
With Jamie Tachiyama, that's what football is all about, finding out what his limits aren't. Like everybody else on the Redmond football team, he feels football and he hears football, but he can't see it.
Maybe visualize is not the right word, but that's what he does somehow.
There you go.
He's been blind since he was 5, and when he was 15, he decided he wanted to play this game. His parents gave him the go-ahead.
They supported me and they said, go for it, you know, and ever since then I've kind of fallen in love with the game, and football's become a major thing in my life now.
His preparation for the game he loves starts with a Braille playbook.
Guard, tackle, tackle.
And it continues in the weight room where he pushes himself and gets pushed by his teammates.
Go, Jamie, put it up, man. Come on, Jamie. Go.
Those teammates are a major part of Jamie's story. When he strays, they put him back on course.
Ready, walk back.
At the line of scrimmage, they help him line up, and they tell him where his man is. The rest is up to Jamie.
He's not pampered like, you know, like, oh, there's Jamie. But he's another guy. But we help him out, you know, because he has some troubles. But, I mean, he gets the help he needs.
When you were a center, you were at the heart of football's trench warfare. Now, the trench is a frightening place full of loud noises and violent collisions. When you can't see those collisions coming, it becomes all the more frightening. Jamie has refused to back down from any of that over the past 4 years, and in the process has earned a lot of respect.
Here's a guy that would give anything to be able just to play a play with total sight, I am sure. You know, he's been cheated a little bit, but it hasn't stopped his development as a human being or as a student.
That's me. I mean, it's just, I'm a big football fan. I love the strategy. I love the hitting, the competitive edge.
Where other players see plays develop, Jamie can only imagine them. Others watch touchdowns that he can only hear. But the hits are very real. And so is the fact that as much as anyone out there, this guy belongs on the Redmond football team. Anybody can see that. Eric Johnson, Como Sports.
Gotta love that story. Coming up in just a minute, we'll get back to the second half of the UNR Pacific football game. UNR leads at halftime, 17-10. We'll get back to that, but first, let's take a timeout. Here, Rob Nicoleski filling in admirably for Dan Gustin and Paul Stewart. Doing a darn fine job in Stockton, boys.
Here we go. Hi, everybody. Rob Nicoleski back here in Stockton, California, with the Wolfpack lead 17-10 at halftime. And here's a very familiar face for all you Wolfpack fans. Athletic Director Chris Salt standing by here with us. First of all, let's talk about the first half. Paul Stewart and I, right before the end of the first half, when Brian Reese scored that long touchdown pass, we were speculating on what happened on that play with Pacific's defensive secondary. You got a pretty good idea what happened.
Yeah, they were too deep, Rob, and what's the offense did is they brought Mike Sr. on a post route and wrapped Brian behind him. We call it a wheel route. Wrapped him behind and up the sideline, and the safety just blew the coverage. And again, you better not blow coverage against Chris Vargas. He's going to pick you.
The Pack hasn't done a whole lot of vertical throwing, deep throwing. That's something that you want to see a little bit more of.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. I think it showed last week. It was evident last week that we didn't, take it downtown enough just to get them off us. And I think that last pass of the second half tells UOP, okay, they do have that vertical threat. We've got to watch and be conscious. And now you can go back to that controlled passing game.
Well, we're talking about football today, but also today is the very first day that college basketball teams can practice, and the Wolfpack football basketball team, men's team, with Pat Foster at the helm, it's probably practicing right now as we speak. And so is the women's basketball team under A to G. You got to be excited about the upcoming season.
Now, Rob, first of all, nobody's practicing right now. They're all watching the game. But right. You're right. A to G with our women's program and Pat Foster with our men's program. And what an exciting time, a new era in Wolfpack basketball, so to speak. And I know they're both excited about the season to get started. And the community has just been terrific in their support for both those programs, Rob. And we're looking forward to making this thing happen and be a very positive situation for our athletic program.
Well, one of the things you're always looking at, since you're the athletic director, is the bottom line. How's season ticket sales going?
They're going excellent, Rob. In fact, we're ahead of our schedule of last year at this particular time. People have been very supportive of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to get it going. And basketball is the key for us right now, Rob, in terms of financial stability in our athletic programs.
If people come out to watch the men's basketball team and the women's team, what can they expect to see this year?
Well, in talking to both coaches, I know Pat's an up-and-down guy. He's not going to put it in the four corners and stall it out. He wants to run a little bit. That's the type of talent he recruits. A to G has a little bit tougher situation because she got hired so late, Rob. Most of the kids that are on the team were on last year's team. She didn't have a chance to to bring in her own crop. So she's really got to take what she has and kind of break in her offense and get it fundamentally started and try to teach good defensive fundamentals. But I know both of them are conscious. In this day and age, you know, it's amazing, Rob. You used to be able to get away with just winning, but now you have to entertain and win.
Let's talk a little bit about the Wolfpack Endowment. That's something that you'd like to talk about. Why don't you explain it to the people out there that don't know that much about it?
That is probably, that is the key for our success in terms of athletic financial stability. We built the Endowment Plaza, which is where the Wolf Bronze lie in front of Mackey Stadium. People who contribute to our endowment program, we put bronze plaques up for them. And right now, Jeff Ardito and our Wolf Club has done a wonderful job of securing, I think we've got up there 42 bronze plaques at this particular time. But all of that money raised through that program, Rob, is going into our general endowment account, and we will use the interest for non-revenue sports only. So it's a place that a revenue sport can display people who want to support all of our programs, all of our athletic programs, and it is the wave of the future. It's the key for our financial success.
Why is that the key for future financial success?
Well, it allows you to quit draining the community. Right now, Rob, you know, we have to go out in the community every year to raise the scholarship money for our athletes. If we could ease that pressure of having an endowment fund which is on campus for scholarships, you can take the monies you raise from the community and do other things for your program. You won't have to double dip it, so to speak. So it gives you stability in the fact that you have scholarships for your kids, and then the other monies available you can generate for your operating funds and also building funds.
You've got one more home football game coming up next week, and if the Wolfpack can hang on and win this game, that game against San Jose State, which is always a big game, is even bigger, isn't it?
Oh, you betcha, Rob, and we're looking forward to that one, especially after last year. You know, it was a great game, but we came up short, and we're in the thick of it, Rob, and it's going to be a great game. It's Chris and Brian, all these great seniors, their last home game. We need a great crowd because it's going to be a very special day.
It will be a special day because it's hard to imagine watching the Wolfpack offense out there without Brian Reeves, without Chris Vargas, without Ryan O'Donnell, those sorts of guys, and it's their last chance to go play in front of a home crowd.
Well, there's 8 of them come back on that offense, you know, from last year's team, Rob, and you're right. You won't see this for a while. This is a very special and talented group, offensive line and receiver and quarterback-wise, and they've been special all year and very good to all of us.
Well, that kickoff will be at 1 o'clock on Saturday at Mackey Stadium. As for today's game, it's 17-10 in favor of the Wolfpack at Pacific, thanks to that late touchdown. We're at the halfway mark of this game, and the Wolfpack leads 17-10. Let's take a look at the first half highlights as the Wolfpack was able to get some scoring done early. Very early drive from Chris Vargas. He's in trouble. He finds Brian Reeves. It looks like Vargas is over the line of scrimmage, and in our opinion he was, but Reeves was able to scamper into the end zone for the touchdown.
Judge says that Vargas was not over the line of scrimmage.
And the Wolfpack jumped out in front 10-0 in this game.
Another reception on this possession.
Defensively, the Wolfpack played pretty well defensively, but Pacific in the second quarter tied things up on this touchdown run from Darrell Rogers from 1 yard out. But then just before the end of the first half, the broken play as Chris Vargas goes back and finds Brian Reeves wide open, and as Coach Alt told us, that was what they call a snake route. The cornerback bit on it, and that made it a 17-10 Wolfpack lead at halftime. A couple of defensive plays to show you. That's Grant Carter with a big defensive play, and Steve Bryan and the Wolfpack defense has played pretty well so far in this first half. We'll be back with second half action after these messages. For play, well, Paul, the Wolfpack 11 first downs, University of Pacific with 9, and then the total offense figures 252 for Nevada, just 111 for Pacific. It really was a kind of an unusual game, Paul, in the first half. The first quarter looked like a Nevada situation where the Wolfpack was taking care of things, but as you can see by time of possession, by the second quarter, Pacific had shifted back and they had taken the momentum.
A very unusual game, Rob, starting from the fact that you're doing play-by-play and I'm doing color. Dan Gustin, in case you are joining us late, is ill today, and Rob, you're handling the color, doing a good job.
I'm doing the play-by-play, you're doing the color.
The play-by-play, I'm trying to fill in as color.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. We hope Dan feels a lot better. We dropped by, I saw him this morning, and he's got a touch of the flu, and that's probably an understatement. He is not feeling well at all today. He's back at the hotel here in Stockton, and we hope Dan feels a lot better. I know it hurts him not be here to watch the Wolfpack. I can't remember the last time Dan missed a game because of any kind of illness.
Let's take a look at some of the individual numbers. Vargas having his average day, 12 for 16 passing, that one interception which was tipped, 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brian Reeves, the leading receiver, with 5 for 108 and 2 touchdowns. The other 2 amigos of the 3, Stevens and Senior, being shut down a little bit. Stevens 1 catch for 13 yards, Senior 2 for 28. Total offense, 252 to 111 in favor of the Wolfpack. But if it wasn't for that blown coverage or pick play, as Coach Alt said, the Wolfpack would be looking at a 10-10 tie.
Well, the Wolfpack will have to kick the ball off to start the second half. Pacific won the toss at the beginning of the game and decided to defer. So the Wolfpack, with Armando Avina doing the kicking, will kick off. And the deep men for Pacific are number 37, Steve Mell, and number 20, Jesse Campbell.
One interesting statistic that jumps off the page at me that I saw during the week, Pacific has not scored a point in the third quarter. And here we go into the third in this game.
Well, Mel takes it to the 1-yard line. He brings it up, and he's tackled right at the 20-yard line, but we got another flag down.
Flags on returns generally go against the returning team. So let's see what happens on this one.
Mel got it back to the 20-yard line, but we'll see if the Tigers will have to start a little bit beyond that. In fact, they will. There's the penalty flag against the Tigers, and Pacific will have to start on its own 10-yard line. Well, the Wolfpack defense, which has been chewed up in the last couple of games, has held its own, relatively speaking, and now forces Pacific back to its own 10-yard line. And that's one of the things that worked in the Wolfpack's favor in the first half, was especially in the first quarter. The Wolfpack defense had Pacific down in its own territory deep. Wheelahan back in a quarterback. He's gone the entire way. Rogers in motion. The swing pass to Rogers. He's got a man out in front of the block. He goes back inside and runs up in front beyond the 20-yard line for a first down.
Tim Rux had a chance for him at about the line of scrimmage, but Jim Jones had to come over from his defensive tackle position to help out.
We mentioned in the first half that Pacific likes to run this swing play to Rogers. He's a good receiver for a big guy and a pretty good runner once he gets the ball, and he runs out in front, gets a first down for the University of Pacific from the 21-yard line. Wheelahan goes up the middle back to Rogers, and Rogers keeps plowing through up to the 29-yard line.
Well, the Wolfpack does not want to let Pacific come in and establish any kind of a long drive here. They want to assert themselves defensively, and so far it hasn't happened in the first 3 plays.
If the Wolfpack can hold, then get the offense back on the board, score a touchdown, and suddenly it's a 2-touchdown game, and Pacific would be out of its game plan. But right now, the Tigers down by 7 with 14 minutes to go in the third quarter, hands the ball off to Green, and he goes to the 31-yard line. He's close to the first down, but I think he's about a couple of feet short.
Tackled by Steve Bryant.
Green and Rogers have been the workhorse backs for the University of Pacific. Pacific seems to be running a very similar offense to the one that Weber State ran against the Wolfpack last game.
Well, I'm sure the Pacific coaches looked at some films and found a few things that they might exploit. Weber State going for over 600 yards against the Pack.
Third and short. Look for Rogers, the up man, or Green, the tailback. It goes to Rogers, and he is stopped by Andy Boo. It's going to be very close to the first down.
Yeah, we will have a measurement on this one way or the other.
It's a cliche, but it is going to depend on the spot of the ball, and they've spotted the ball very generously for the University of Pacific, and that is a first down outright. In fact, they won't even measure.
That was unusual because it looked like measurement territory. The official took the ball and took it over to the hash mark, and then they decided it was a first down.
Home cooking, I don't know. 13-10 to go in the first half, or in the third quarter, that is. 17-10 in favor of Nevada.
It's 2 first downs on this opening drive of the third quarter by Pacific, trying to get their legs on the ground and get back to another tie situation.
Pacific started this drive on its own 10-yard line after the kickoff from the Tigers. Wheelahan in trouble. He's being chased and runs out of bounds and is pushed out of bounds by David Miller. I take that back. That's Jeff Condra. It's hard to look at those numbers. 96 and 99 look pretty similar. But Wheelahan pushed out of bounds. Wheelahan has gone all the way. He shared time with the other quarterback, Dave Hennigan, here for the University of Pacific. But so far, Wheelahan has played throughout this entire game. Has played pretty well. 6 out of 13 for 73 yards in the first half.
Wheelahan had a knee injury and did not play last week, but I guess he got that rehabilitated enough to be able to go.
2nd and 8. Rogers goes in motion. Leader comes in on the blitz, and we've got flags down again.
That play was killed right from the inception. Wheelahan backing up, hearing the whistles, knowing he was going to be okay.
I think this is against Pacific. I think it's another procedure penalty. It is. And this will set up a 2nd and 13 situation for the Tigers. A reminder, on Monday Night Football here on News Channel 8, we got the Washington Redskins against the Buffalo Bills. Bills looking very impressive. The Redskins having a horrible season by Washington standards. And right after that, we'll have Monday Night Sports Wrap, where our group of 4 will talk about just about anything we feel like talking about in the world of sports. That's Monday, starting at 6 o'clock here on News Channel 8. Wheelahan back to throw. He dumps it off the green. He gets away from 1 man, gets away from 2. He's finally wrapped up by Garnett Overby at the 35-yard line. Wheelahan nearly tripped over his own feet going back here. He's able to dump it off to Green, who picked up 7. It'll be another 3rd down situation for the Nevada defense.
The Nevada defense played through that screen rather well. There was 3 blockers out in front of the screen. Big 3rd and 6 right here, Rob.
Wheelahan has Brown at the top. Motion by Rogers. Back goes Wheelahan. He goes over the middle. He finds his man. That's Greg Weston, who then drops the ball. And it looks like Nevada has it back.
Nevada
and it is a Wolfpack turnover. A big play for Nevada as Greg Weston fumbles the ball. It was a 1st down.
Frank Marvitz came up with that loose ball.
There's Weston. And he gets stripped when Tim Rux pops him. And the Wolfpack recovers. We've got 1 Wolfpack player down on the field. Here's another look at the hit. Good hit by Tim Rux. And with 11:28 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Wolfpack gets the 1st turnover of the 2nd half. The Pack up by 7. We'll be back after these messages. Stewart sitting in for Dan Gustin, who's feeling a little bit under the weather, and the Wolfpack trying to make Pacific feel a little bit more under the weather, trying to extend its lead after the turnover. Vargas back to throw. He throws the ball, and that's intercepted by Darius Cunningham. Vargas floated that ball out. He was looking for Michael Stevens, and 1 turnover leads to another. Cunningham with the interception. Vargas rolls out.
The ball didn't have a normal Vargas tight spiral. I think he lost a grip on that a little bit.
Well, he threw the ball off his front foot, but he did not flat see Cunningham.
2 interceptions so far in this game. The first one was not Vargas's fault, but this one certainly was. Not only throwing into coverage, but underthrowing the ball.
That was just a flat, bad throw by Chris, and Pacific's quarterback, Craig Wheelahan, decides to take a timeout as there was some confusion in the Pacific front line on what the correct call was, and the play clock was running down. But an interception by Vargas, who had 5 last week, and those were the big, one of the major stories in the game last week was the number of turnovers. We'll be back, and we'll see if Pacific can capitalize on the Nevada turnover after these messages. California, where the Wolfpack has a 7-point lead in the 3rd quarter, but Paul, those turnover woes continue for Nevada.
Nevada's putting up a lot of positive numbers on offense, but 1 negative number is -15 for the season in turnovers.
They've had 3 today. Pacific has had 1, so the Pack is at -2 this afternoon, and that play stacked up on 1st down.
Interesting to notice that, as I alluded to at halftime, Pacific has yet to score a point in the 3rd quarter. They're being outscored 39-0 in that quarter. on the other side of the coin, Nevada outscoring their opponents 76-44 in the third quarter. So let's see if history holds true.
It's remarkable that Pacific, through 7 games, has not scored a point in the third quarter. Wheelahan back to throw. He dumps it off to his inside man. That's Damon Bowers, a freshman from Alamo, California, with the reception.
Andy Boo and Jeff Condra there to meet him, however, right about the line of scrimmage.
This will set up another third down situation. Pacific throwing a lot of short passes in this game, but on this play, the inside pass did not go very far for Pacific, and now the Wolfpack in a 3rd down and 7 situation defensively to see if the Wolfpack defense can convert.
Looks like Wheelahan is checking off this time, a long count.
Some of the Wolfpack linebackers show blitz, but they go back on coverage, and the pass goes over the head of the receiver, Patrick Gierich, but there's been a flag down. It looks like that'll be against Darnell Hassan. But
well, that was an uncatchable ball.
Exactly.
Clearly, the receiver had checked up like he was going to curl, and then when he started off again, ran into Hassan.
And I think that's what Jeff Horton is hollering at right now to the officials, but the play and the penalty will stand. That's a bad call. That catch was that pass was uncatchable, and Kenny Mizell, the defensive coordinator, isn't happy about it either, as that gives Pacific a 1st down.
They're at the 45-yard line, 5 yards away from Wolfpack territory. And they had a drive going on their initial possession until Weston, the receiver, after a nice reception, going to pick up about 20 yards, was hit by Rux and fumbled.
Well, Pacific gets a bit of a gift. 1st down for the Tigers. They're down by 7 with less than 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Wheelahan back. He's under pressure. This pass is intercepted by the Wolfpack. That's number 13, Garnett Overby. With the interception, we've now had 3 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of this second half.
Well, Garnett Overby looked like the primary receiver on that one. He caught it in stride right over his shoulder.
Garnett Overby, who's also playing out of position today, the Wolfpack secondary, and we talked about this at the beginning of the broadcast, about how there are so many walking wounded on the Wolfpack defensive side of the ball. There's only 5 healthy defensive backs, and Garnett Overby playing a cornerback today, and the freshman with the nice do, who's a business major, makes the catch, the interception, and Chris Vargas and company takes over on their own 29-yard line, and Marcellus Krishan picks up about a yard before he's wrestled down.
One of the best ways to produce turnovers is via the interception, and the Wolfpack with only 9 this year. Overby, that's his 2nd now. Well, that makes it 10. Add that one on.
10 interceptions for the Wolfpack secondary, and the timing may be very good, as the Wolfpack is now trying to get themselves in a position to open this lead a little bit. 7 points is rather iffy at this point. Back goes Vargas on the play action. He looks for someone and decides to run again, and he decides to go for the hook slide around the 37-yard line. Pick up about 6 by Vargas. He'll set up another 3rd down situation. Vargas has been very active in this game, running the ball. It is his 3rd rushing attempt in this game. He gained 18 yards rushing in the first half.
As quarterbacks get older and more mature, they would much rather throw the ball and let someone else take the hit. And on that time, it was interesting to see Vargas do that professional hook slide.
They need him for the rest of the game, so there's no point in setting your jaw and getting popped. Marcellus Krishan breaks the tackle, and he gets the 1st down for the Wolfpack.
Vargas bobbled the snap momentarily, and it almost upset the timing of the play, but they were able to get it to Krishan, and with his speed, he picks up the 1st down.
Here's a look at that. As you were saying, Paul, Vargas bobbled the ball from Ryan O'Donnell, but then was able to hand off to Krishan, and most importantly, he got out of Marcellus's way because he had a full head of steam and got himself a 1st down for the Wolfpack, a big 3rd down conversion. 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line for Nevada, up by 7 with 8:27 to go in the first half. A swing pass to Krishan. He has a couple of blockers. He's out past midfield and out past the 40-yard line as Krishan tiptoes his way to the 38.
He was a crisper stiff arm away from a touchdown on that one.
Here's Vargas in the play action to help freeze the linebackers. Dumps it off to Krishan.
As opposed to the checkoff pass earlier to Zeke Moore, this one was the #1 primary play, and you can tell that it worked a lot better than a checkoff pass.
1st and 10 for Nevada. Stevens at the bottom of your screens. Senior and Reeves at the top. The ball goes to Krishan again, who does another big hole. He bumped into Michael Senior, or else he could have gained a few more yards, but he has another first down to the 26 or 27-yard line of Pacific.
It's hard to criticize a 12 or 13-yard gain, but if he takes the outside lane on this one and cuts off that block, he could be gone. See on the replay, right here, if he goes outside, he's got 42 to beat.
As it stands, he gets down to the 26-yard line, and the Wolfpack offense, both offenses have been sputtering, turning the ball over here early in the second half, but the Nevada offense in a position to widen its lead. The ball goes to Zeke Moore, who's checked into the game, and he falls forward close to another first down.
Very interesting that when the Wolfpack has wanted to take control of this game, they've gone to the run, and they are such a primarily passing team in 1993.
Well, early in the second half, the Wolfpack seems to be doing the same thing it was doing early in the first half, which is trying to establish the run. Now it's 2nd down and 2 yards. This is a good down to go long, to go to the end zone with, because you'll still have another down to play with. The ball goes incomplete. Vargas plays it straight, hands it off to Zeke Moore. He's got the first down and a lot more, down to the 6 or 7-yard line.
The Wolfpack offensive line opening some huge holes right now. The first ones to make contact with the Wolfpack runners are in the secondary.
Zeke Moore is from Sacramento. He's got a lot of friends here watching the game, and he's running hard and running with purpose. Down to the 7-yard line. Moore and Krishan doing a nice job for the Wolfpack as running backs, especially in the early part of the second half. It's 1st and goal from the 7. Vargas directing his receivers. He goes back to throw. He turns, he fires, he's got a touchdown. That's Michael Senior. Mike Senior scores from 7 yards out, and the Wolfpack has now opened a 2-touchdown lead with the extra point pending.
Senior was one of 2 receivers out there. I think Reeves was the other one. Either one of them could have caught that ball. Reeves kind of pulled his hands back and let it go, which is unusual for Bryant. It was a little bit beyond his reach. He was thinking about it, though.
If it was near him, he would have gone after it. Avina on to try the extra point. Low snap, but Senior does a nice job to regain the ball, and Avina kicks it through the uprights, and Nevada now has a 24-10 lead with 7:01 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Pack up by 2 touchdowns. We'll be back. Stockton, California. Rob Nikolewski along with Paul Stewart, as the Wolfpack has now opened up a 24-10 lead with 7:01 to go on this warm, sunny day in Stockton, California. The Pack leading the University of Pacific in a game that Nevada needs to stay in the race for the Big West Championship and a berth in the Las Vegas Bowl. The deep kick goes back, and Mel decides to down it.
Armando Avina having a good game with 3 extra points and a field goal, and this is a homecoming of sorts for Armando. He's from 5 miles outside, a little town called Linden, I believe, and he did his junior college duty right here at San Joaquin Delta, which is about 3 blocks down the road.
Well, the Wolfpack went 71 yards in just 2 minutes and 49 seconds. It took just 8 plays. Paul and I were talking just before the end of the half about how quickly the Nevada offense can score, evidenced in that statistic right there. 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go, 71 yards. Now Craig Wheelahan in a position where he has to try to get University of Pacific back into this game, down by 2 touchdowns with 6:55 to go in the first half, or in the 3rd quarter, that is. Green goes up the middle, gains about 5. Green, not a big guy, but he sure is elusive.
Looked like Jeff Condor got the first trip on him there, way back about 5 yards from that replay.
It's 2nd and 5. for the Tigers. Wheelahan hands off to Green again, and he is stacked up by David Miller and a couple other Wolfpack players. It'll set up a 3rd and short.
I'm sure Coach Horton is breathing a little bit easier with a more than 1 touchdown advantage now. With 14 points up, you can take a few more chances on defense and offense.
And the Wolfpack defense in a situation now on 3rd and short where they can try to get the Wolfpack offense back on the field to further exert whatever control they have on this game. There's Green getting it literally his helmet knocked off.
Come on, keep it up, keep it up.
Well, they've gone on 3rd and short situations to Rogers, the up man before it. See what number they call this time. It goes back to Rogers, and he plows through for the 1st down. If you just joined us, the Wolfpack leads 24-10 with 5:38 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Pack jumped out in front 10-0 after 1 quarter of play. Then Pacific came back and tied things up at 10 late in the 2nd quarter, but then just before the end of the half, a blown coverage led to a long touchdown pass from Chris Vargas to Brian Reeves. The Pack took a 17-10 halftime lead and has added another touchdown here in the 3rd quarter on a 71-yard drive. You're up to date with a 24-10 game with 5:18 to go in the 3rd quarter. Wheelahan back, he's in trouble. He was able to avoid 1 man and finds his receiver, Damon Bowers, close to a 1st down. He may have it. It depends on where exactly they spot the ball, whether the 41 or the 41.5. He has to get to about the 41.5.
Some play action froze the outside contain here.
Jeff Condra went for the running back. Wheelahan was able to escape the pressure and found his man. And the officials may measure this time.
Rob, a score of interest in the Big West Conference. In the 2nd quarter, San Jose State leads Southwest Louisiana 13-3, and that's very significant because those are the 2 teams who are undefeated in conference play.
So, even though most Wolfpack fans consider San Jose State to be a chief rival year in and year out, from a Nevada standpoint, you want San Jose State to win that game.
Exactly.
To give Southwest Louisiana a defeat, and then if you're a Nevada fan, you want the Wolfpack to beat San Jose State, and then you've taken care of everything.
If for no other reason, the Wolfpack does not play Southwest Louisiana this year, so with a chance to play San Jose head-to-head, that's what you want. You want that showdown next week with Southwest Louisiana having their 2nd loss. They lost. They've won 5 in a row, but they lost to Utah State in the very 1st game of the season.
Well,
1st down.
They haven't moved the chains, but it's 2nd and 1, yes. The ball goes to Rogers, and he's got enough for the 1st down, I believe, as he's wrapped up by Steve Bryant. Well, Pacific is moving the ball on this drive, but they're chewing up a lot of clock. We're inside of 5 minutes. And as we said before, if the Wolfpack could score more than 30 points, I think you'd be hard-pressed to think that the Pacific could score more than 30. So even though Pacific is moving the ball, they still shortening the game.
They still haven't crossed the 50. Now they have.
Rogers is up, down to the 45-yard line of Nevada. The swing pass has been very effective to Rogers today. And here's Wheelahan, who's called a pretty good game today. Swings the ball out to Rogers. Darnell Hassan not able to make the tackle. He cuts back. And the big fellow rumbles inside the 45-yard line of Nevada, 1st and 10.
Good inside cutback on that one against the grain. Forced a couple defenders to overrun him. Picked up good yardage.
1st and 10 for the Tigers. Wheelahan with the fake. He's going to throw. He's got a man, but he overthrows him. He had Bowers again on the down and out, but he overthrew Bowers, and it'll set up a 2nd down and 10 situation.
Nevada not too worried to let Pacific nickel and dime them here in the middle of the field, feeling that their defense will be able to stop them sometime before they get too deep into their territory.
There's Wheelahan checking his wristband again, looking at the play. There's his statistics. Not bad, 11 out of 20 for 126 yards. He's no Chris Vargas. They basically want him to go in there, hit the passes that they expect him to hit, keep the ball control offense going, and so far he's done a pretty good job today.
That was Campbell carrying right up the middle on that one for about 5, bringing up a 3rd down.
Another 3rd down situation. Campbell has not played very much in this game, and he was able to fall forward for 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Pacific only 1-6 on the season and playing a different brand of football than they did last year with their All-American trio.
Aaron Turner and
Brian
company.
Benjamin, Tony Kopp.
That pass complete to Rogers. He had to come back and catch the ball at his shoe tops, but he'll be about a yard short of the 1st down. Once again, Chuck Shelton, who gambled a couple times on 4th and short situations in the first half and came through each time, is now in another big decision area right now.
And I don't think it's any decision. They're going for it, and that's all there is to it. They're down 2 touchdowns, and they want to keep the ball out of the hands of the Wolfpack.
It's not a risky call in the sense that it's too long to kick a field goal, and you don't want to turn the ball over on a punt from the 35-yard line. So it's a good, educated guess for Pacific. And we'll see if
they may be trying to draw them off. No, and they're stopped.
What a stop by the Wolfpack defense. A great play. I believe that was Jim Jones or maybe David Miller.
David Miller right up the middle.
We've got a late flag down on the field. I'm not sure what that's about. It might be a dead ball foul, so even if it is against Nevada, it might just be marked off after the possession.
Well, the Wolfpack offense is coming on the field. And now the official is going to go talk it over.
You've got a late hit against Pacific and a late hit or a personal foul against Nevada. It's washed off the board. But the big play here, right in the middle, David Miller, I believe, number 96. That's him right there, and he's a big load. And he stops Ozzie Wallace. Miller.
Well, we're going to have to start keeping 4th down conversions for Pacific. They are 2 of 3 now.
But a big stop for the Nevada defense, which has had its problems in recent weeks, but so far has allowed just 10 points, and we're late in the 3rd quarter. Zeke Moore again. He goes up to the 40-yard line, a pickup of about 3.
Very effective use of the clock in their running game by Horton. He's gone away from his bread and butter passing game because he's got the lead now. He's going to try to take some time off the clock. And as long as you're picking up 5 or 6 on 1st down, why not?
The Wolfpack offense ready to go out towards the ball and start on 2nd down, but the officials are warning both sidelines to move their players away from the field of play. It'll be 2nd down. 2nd down and 6 for Nevada.
Clock down to 2:21 here in the 3rd quarter, and once again, Pacific has failed to put any points on the board.
This has been a relatively fast-moving game by Wolfpack standards. The fake. Vargas rolls to his right. He has a man. He finds Tom Matter. That's complete enough for the 1st down. How many times have we seen that this year, Paul? A little curl pattern to Tom Matter off play action has been very effective.
I think if Vargas had delivered this ball a little higher, Matter may have gone for quite a few extra yards. Throws it low. Matter still makes the catch.
Matter beats linebacker Jeff Dyrick and picks up the 1st down, and Jeff Horton continues to watch the clock run and continues to watch his offense rack up some yards. A swing pass over to Moore. He gets a pretty good block from Brian Reeves and flips over inside Pacific territory to about the 45-yard line.
That was Darius Cunningham who got him low and sent him flying into Dyrick there.
Dyrick gets the worst of it. And that was a good block there by Brian Reeves. You know, Reeves is such a flamboyant player. But something that's overlooked is the fact that he does a lot of little things very well, like block. You can just barely see it there out of the corner of your screen, but he makes a block that helps Zeke Moore pick up 6 yards. We've got a flag down. Looks like Pacific jumped off sides.
Or there may have been movement on the Wolfpack line. We'll have to wait to see what the officials say. Now, one thing Wolfpack receivers will tell you, and you can observe if you're looking that far downfield, is that once one of those guys catches the ball, the other three amigos plus Matter really put the wood on people to try to get them free.
Well, the penalty flag goes against Chuck Shelton's team. That'll be an automatic first down for Nevada. And as you said, Paul, it's suddenly the high-octane Wolfpack offense has gone to ground Chuck, and it's been working.
I'm not sure Coach Shelton would like that term, ground Chuck, but it is apropos.
1:08 and counting in the third quarter. Nevada leads by 2 touchdowns, 24-10. Looking for more. The draw play 2 more, and Zeke slips, and he's down when his knee hit the ground at around the 42-43-yard line. It looked like he had some running room, but Zeke lost his balance.
Now, speaking of Chuck Shelton, he's been around a long time, and he is actually the dean of coaches in the Big West Conference. He's only been at Pacific 2 years, where he's got a 4-14 record so far, but he was at Utah State for 6 years before that, and prior to that at Drake. So Chuck's been around, and he knows what he's doing out there.
He's a real low-key guy, too, although he looks rather animated there on the sidelines. Second and 13 for Nevada. Vargas back to throw. He finds Reeves, but it bounces off Brian's hands, and it'll be 3rd down and 13. The pass was a little bit behind Brian. He ducked to avoid the defensive back, Dimitri Gazales.
Nevada was fortunate that that wasn't another tipped interception, because there were defenders directly behind Reeves. But that one was Vargas' fault. Reeves had to put the brakes on, try to make the catch at a full stop. 3rd and 12 now. Wolfpack drive bogging down a little bit.
And with the receptions that Brian has had today, he's now moved into 9th place on the all-time receiving list. And as we said, as the game started, if he keeps catching an average of 10 passes a game this year, he'll be in 5th place by the time the season ends. Just a few pass catches behind Howard Twilley, the great wide receiver from the University of Tulsa back in the early 1960s, who later had a great career with Miami Dolphins. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that Reeves could move past Twilley.
And Rob, Brian's only played 3 years.
Yes, that's something that a lot of people overlook. Back goes Vargas off his back foot. He throws a pass over Reeves' head. Vargas was under a lot of pressure. He's getting up rather slowly, but he's okay.
Here comes Avina as the Wolfpack, with their 14-point lead, will now settle for field position and try to pin the Tigers deep.
But it's got to be frustrating for Jeff Horton, because he knew that if he scored one more touchdown, he might be able to put this game away, put it on ice. But now, with 4 seconds to go in the third quarter, Pacific still very much in this game, down by 2 touchdowns.
Avina may take a shot at the corner on this one. It's right about in the zone that you want to do that, 42 yards. If you boom it, it'll just go into the end zone and come out to the 20. There he goes.
Avina pooches it. Takes a bounce, but bounces into the end zone. Mike Sr. couldn't get to it on time. And with that punt, the third quarter comes to an end. Nevada outscores Pacific 7-0 in this quarter, and has outscored Nevada 24-10 through 3 quarters of play. We'll be back at Amos Alonzo Stag here in Stockton, California after these messages. The Pack up by 2 touchdowns. Rob Nikolewski along with Paul Stewart here at Amos Alonzo Stag Field at Stockton, California, where the Pacific Tigers are taking on the Nevada Wolfpack through 3 quarters of play. The Pack has a 24-10 lead. Pacific, however, with the ball back as we start the 4th quarter. Wheelahan back. He has plenty of time to throw, all day to throw. He lets one fly, and that ball seemed to flutter out of Craig's hands. He did have a receiver, number 85, Greg Weston. But Wheelahan seemed to have that ball slip out of his hands. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Rob, good news and bad news for Pacific. They've moved into a quarter where they have actually scored some points this year. They've scored 22 in the 4th. The bad news is that their opponents collectively have scored 38.
And once again, amazingly, through 8 games, Pacific has not scored a point in the third quarter. Here's Wheelahan's numbers, 12 out of 22, and he now faces a 2nd and 10 situation. That's amazing. Not scoring a point in 3 quarters of play for 8 games.
Complete pass to Green, who receives it and falls down right at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
So again, another 3rd and long situation. The Wolfpack defense, which has had its problems, has looked pretty darn good today.
And you see Pacific now coming out of their game plan a little bit. They're 2 touchdowns down. They're going to have to put the ball in the air, and they don't quite know how to do it.
They've got 14 minutes and 25 seconds to try to figure out a way. They're down 24-10. The Wolfpack trying to hang on, trying to win this game, a game that is a must-win situation in order to try to get back to Las Vegas Bowl again. Wheelahan back to throw, and that pass nearly intercepted. Clayton Lopez nearly got a hand on it. Then it bounced off the helmet of Damon Bowers, and it's a 4th down situation as the Wolfpack defense has held Pacific. Pacific forced to punt.
Brian Reeves back to receive. He's got lots of room on this one.
He is way deep on this play as well. There's the punt, and it's a good kick. Reeves takes it at his own 40-yard line, goes the wrong way, comes back, tries to get a block, gets one, and altogether gets a net of about 2 yards, although he ran about 20. We'll take a break with 13:58 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Wolfpack has a 2-touchdown lead. We'll see if Jeff Horton's team can hang on after these messages. Has a 24-10 lead here in Stockton, California against the University of Pacific. And there's some people who don't want to be on television. Maybe they should be studying. Chris Vargas comes up to the line of scrimmage. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes in this game. That's accounted for all the Wolfpack touchdowns. And there's a fumble on the snap, but Vargas gets it back.
Well, they had trouble on a connection earlier, and that's very unusual because Ryan O'Donnell and Chris Vargas have been exchanging snaps for a long time.
One of many seniors on the Wolfpack starting lineup offensively. Here's the replay. Chris loses the ball, is able to fall back on top of it. O'Donnell and Vargas, again, because they're seniors and they've played so much together, they're very smart. You may have noticed this in a couple of the home games. Whenever a defensive player jumps off sides, O'Donnell will snap the ball automatically, even though Vargas may not have called for the ball, because that way they can get an automatic 5 yards.
Exactly.
There's Krishan up to the 50-yard line. They'll set up a 3rd and short situation for Nevada.
An update from the Bayou State. Southwest Louisiana has scored another touchdown, and it is now 13-10 San Jose. So a barn burner down there.
Down in Cajun country. And as we said, for Nevada fans, Nevada needs San Jose State to win that game. It's not imperative, but that's what Nevada fans should be pulling for. 3rd and short. Vargas hands off inside of Krishan, who hangs on to the ball, wraps it up, and picks up another 1st down for Nevada.
While we're talking about the schedule, Nevada fans can root for UNLV tonight against New Mexico State as well.
That's right, because New Mexico State has not lost a game in conference. Isn't that correct?
No, they've lost 1, but the Wolfpack's game against the Aggies is not considered a conference game. And it has yet to be determined whether it would be considered a tiebreaker situation, the outcome of that game.
So Nevada fans will be in a strange position rooting for UNLV. And that's a lot to root for, the way the Rebels are playing this year. Here's the reverse to Reeves. He wants to throw the ball to Stevens. It floats up and gets intercepted. That is Jeff Russell with another interception as Brian Reeves threw a wounded duck. That was picked off. There are flags down. But I don't know if I don't think that the interception will be overruled. There may have been some pushing and shoving, but Reeves' pass was so poorly thrown.
That play was so well defensed, and it's amazing because...
Oh, it's pass interference against Pacific. A gigantic break for Nevada.
We have not seen that play all year, and yet the Pacific defense had it smelled out perfectly. Brian Reeves should have just kept running.
Exactly. He should have not thrown this ball. But I guess they're going to call the penalty against Dimitri Gazales for running into Michael Stevens on a ball that never got to Michael.
Well, that's 2 questionable calls that we've seen in the secondary, and now they've evened up. Brian, you're not quite the quarterback that your buddy Vargas is.
Not exactly going to win any awards in the punt, pass, and kick contest.
The last time we saw that play was in the Las Vegas Bowl when Reeves attempted to throw a pass, and it was only about a 5-yard pass. It was at the goal line.
That's right. Well, Nevada gets a big break. It's now 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line, and Jeff Horton and the Wolfpack decides to forego any razzle-dazzle. Let's go back to the running attack, and Marcellus Krishan picks up enough for another first down.
Wolfpack now inside of that red zone, or let's call it the blue zone for the Wolfpack, inside the 20, where they're so effective in putting points on the board. And if they put any points on the board, I think it's pretty close to nail in the coffin category.
Well, there's the Pacific Tiger mascot doing some trick-or-treating. So far, the trick has been on Pacific as the Tigers find themselves down by 2 touchdowns. 11:43 to go in the ballgame. Krishan cuts upfield and dives forward for a couple of yards. Marcellus likes that move. He likes to leave his feet sometimes when he makes that turn.
Pacific for Halloween is wearing their orange and black, Rob, but they wear that every week.
Yeah, if you squint, you can think that maybe they're Idaho State. But I'm glad that we're in Stockton and not in Pocatello.
True story. And Wolfpack fans have played, or Wolfpack teams have played Idaho State around Halloween many times.
That's right. Do lots of homecoming games in Mackey Stadium. Second down and about 8 yards to go. Krishan on the delay. Up near a first down. It'll set up a third down and short situation as the clock continues to run. We're inside of 11 minutes to go. It's 24-10 in favor of Nevada. Here's a promotion for our Monday lineup here on News Channel 8 at 5:30. We'll have our news with the team you know and trust. And at 6 o'clock, Monday Night Football with Frank Gifford and Dan Deerdorf and Al Michaels, the Redskins against the Bills. And then right after the game, Monday Night Sports Wrap. There's a penalty flag down on the field as the Wolfpack gets a playoff. That was Zeke Moore on the carry, and there's a penalty flag down, and it's a legal procedure against Nevada. So now, instead of third down and 2, it'll be third down and 7. Moore was very close to the first down. I don't know if he would have gotten it. And that's the Pacific player down was their very fine linebacker, Grant Carter, who we talked about earlier in the broadcast. He goes off the field for one play. That's the way it works in college football. If you're injured, you have to come off for at least one play. So he should be back. He seems to be up and walking around on the sideline. He should be back after this play.
Wanted to look at some third quarter numbers, but the Pack, with that quick break, ready to play. We'll take a look at them in a minute.
Third down and 7 as Vargas goes to the line of scrimmage. Nevada looking for the clinching touchdown, the possible clinching touchdown in this game. Vargas over the middle. He finds Senior again. That's another touchdown. Mike Senior catches his second touchdown of the game. This one from 13 yards out, and the Pack has built up a 30-10 lead with the extra point to come.
And I believe that's going to about do it. I don't think that Pacific has it in their arsenal to come from 21 points down.
And there's the Nevada contingent. There's a lot of people here that came up from Stockton, a lot of people from the Stockton area. Their sons are a lot of Wolfpack players from the Sacramento area, Stockton area. Armando Avina kicks the extra point, and with 10-17 to go in this football game, Nevada seems to have things in hand with a 31-10 lead. We'll be back after these messages. California, Chris Vargas with his 24th touchdown pass of the year, his 4th in this game. Back to throw, and he finds Mike Senior for the score, and Senior drags Dwayne Thomas into the end zone. The Pack is now up 31-10. Here's Mel on the kickoff return for Pacific, and he is knocked down.
Chris Vargas just continues to add to his numbers. He's already set all the single-season records, and there's 3.5 games left to play. So it's redundant to say he sets school records every time, but that's what he's doing.
And there's another quick drive for Nevada, 3 minutes and 41 seconds and 58 yards on 9 plays. And Mike Senior catches his 4th touchdown pass of the season, his 2nd of this game. And Nevada now has a 31-10 lead, and Pacific's in a situation now where they have to throw the ball, and throw the ball a lot. 10 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the game. Wheelahan back to throw. He dumps it off. He's got a man, but he has tackled Andy Boo with a big hit on number 17, Mike Morales.
Boo with a little cleanup action there. After Steve Bryant had slowed him up, Boo brought him down.
Pacific is a team known for its defense and known for its ball control offense. If they've got a hurry-up offense, now's the time to go into one. There's 9:43 and counting. Second down and 3 yards to go. The ball goes inside to Green. He bounces off a couple of tackles and lunges forward to the 40-yard line for a first down.
The Wolfpack has come into Stagg Stadium here and played Pacific's kind of game, and they're going to come out on top.
They really have played a game that's been roughly at Pacific's pace. It's been a physical game and has not been, by Nevada standards at least, a high-scoring, high-octane affair. It's been a physical game at the line of scrimmage, and so far Nevada is winning. Wheelahan back to throw. He dumps it off. He's got a man. Pick up of about 6 yards over to Trent Julian.
Nevada scoring a little bit over 40 points a game, and they've got 31, and it's a Pacific style of game. With 9 minutes to play, it's not inconceivable the Wolfpack can put up another 7 or 10 points.
Well, right now the Wolfpack coach is concerned that the defense can make a couple of stops and put the offense in a position where they can add a few more points. This game is not over, and Darnell Hassan limps off the field. There's Ken Mizell, the defensive coordinator for the Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack is so thin in that defensive secondary right now that they've toyed with the idea of taking receiver Sean Price and converting him to defense in the middle of the season.
Well, there are 4 defensive backs in there now. Overby, Lopez, Rux, and number 8 now in for the Wolfpack, Dominic Bouchelion, who has not seen a whole lot of action, but he has now been forced to play because Hassan limped off the field a few moments ago. He didn't look to be seriously injured, and sure enough, Bouchelion goes out of the game, and Hassan will come back in.
Green picks up a couple, bringing up a third and very short situation right at the 50.
Well, this is 2-down territory for Pacific. Even if they don't make it here, down by 21, they'll get a second crack at it on 4th down. Ball goes to Green, and he lunges forward. He gets the first down. He's wrapped up, line of scrimmage, but lunges forward to get the first down, and that keeps the drive alive for the University of Pacific.
The drive is alive, but the clock is moving, and that's the worst enemy for the Tigers right now. We're about to go underneath the 8-minute mark, and yes, they are chewing up some yardage, but they're also chewing up some clock.
Yeah, it's not just the 21 points that Pacific has to overcome. It's also a running clock at 7:49 and counting. Back goes Wheelahan. He goes back. He finds another man short. It seems like the Wolfpack seems to be very happy to allow the 5 or 6 yard reception as Clayton Lopez wraps up the receiver, and it'll force a 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, that was Trent Julian on that short reception.
But he stays in bounds. The clock keeps moving. We've got 7:20 in counting.
Really has been a quick game when you consider how long the Weaver State game lasted and the UNLV game lasted.
The Utah State game.
The Utah State game over 4 hours, or close to 4 hours.
Wheelahan dumps one off, and that's Green. He's still up. He gets wrapped up by Steve Bryant and falls towards the 32-yard line. Stanley Green, not a real big guy, 5'10", 185 pounds, and he'll feel the bumps and bruises from today's game tomorrow because he has taken some pops, but he has picked up some valuable yards for the Pacific offense. He's done a very good job.
Pacific has had real good success with that little inside screen. Give it to Green and see if he can pick up a block or two.
First down, Wheelahan back again. That pass nearly picked off by Steve Bryant. Nice job by Steve as he closed very quickly on Mike Morales, the tight end.
Steve Bryant, one of the fastest guys on the team, despite being a linebacker. Had he picked off that pass, we would have found out how fast he was because he had a lot of green in front of him.
Steve Bryant's had a good season. He's been playing out of position all year long because of the loss of Lamont Porter. The Wolfpack defensive people would rather have Bryant play as an outside linebacker like he did last year. That's why he made so many spectacular plays last year, because at outside linebacker, you're in that position where you can rush the quarterback. But at inside linebacker, he has more responsibilities to stick his nose in on running plays. And on that running play,
That was a draw by Green.
Pacific able to get it close to another first down, but there's 6:25 left to go in this game. Here's the replay, Paul. As Green continues to chew up yardage.
Very effective drive, and if this was earlier in the game, it would be cause for concern. But right now, they need to score quicker than this.
I'm surprised that they're taking so much time in the huddle. And Wheelahan is a junior, but he's been in the program for a while. He should be able to call these plays from the line of scrimmage. He falls forward for the first down. Wheelahan does, and that'll give Pacific 4 more downs.
Clock will stop while the chains are reset, and then they'll kick that clock back in again.
5:55 left to go in this game as the shadows begin to descend here on Amos Alonzo's Stagg Field in Stockton, California. If you just joined us, the Wolfpack leads 31-10. Chris Vargas has thrown 4 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Vargas, and 2 of them to Brian Reeves, 2 of them to Mike Sr.
Wolfpack defense wanting to keep the score down to 10 because that would have equaled their best defensive point production. And that was against Boise State, 38-10.
Tim Rux had a chance to pick that pass off, but it bounced off his hands. And it'll be second down as the clock will stop. Rux has had his hands on a couple of balls this afternoon, and this one just right through his hands inside the 5-yard line. And that would have put the exclamation point on what appears to be a Nevada victory, but we still have 5:34 to go in this game. Pacific down by 21 points. Wheelahan goes inside the green, and a nice stop there. That's Marty Washington, who came in and lowered the boom on Green. I said earlier, just a few plays ago, that Green will probably be pretty sore tomorrow. Will definitely be sore after this hit. Washington closes and ends the play.
You know, people close to the Wolfpack program predicted that last week's embarrassing loss to Weber State would refocus the team, and I think that we've seen a Nevada offense and defense that have played extremely well today.
Especially on the defensive end. Third down, and there's the big sack. The ball, I thought the ball was loose, but it was not. It was just Steve Bryant getting excited and nearly stumbling over his own man in excitement. It forces a 4th down, but Steve Bryant comes blasting through. We were talking about at his inside linebacker position. He doesn't get a free shot at the quarterback very often, but he got one that time.
Yeah, no one laid a hand on Brian as he came free. It was not a blitz. He was just rushing, and they opened a nice hole for him to come through.
Well, now Pacific in a position where it has to convert. 4th down, 14 yards to go for a first down. 4:14 and counting left to go in this football game. Wheelahan back. He finds his man over the middle. He's in for a touchdown. That's Trent Julian. And Wheelahan is down, but he's not out. And the Pacific Tigers are not out of this one either, with 4:04 to go.
Well, Pacific is now 3 of 4 on 4th down conversions, this being the most significant one.
There's Brian again, lowering the boom on Wheelahan, but he got the pass off. Nice catch by Trent Julian. He escapes the defensive backs. The extra point is good, and we'll be back after these messages. Pacific trying to even things up. They're down by 14 with 4:04 to go.
Wolfpack football is hot. And your Sierra Nevada GMC truck dealer is behind it all the way. All season, you've seen our Wolfpack Suburban at the game. And now we're giving away 1,000 tickets for the final home game against San Jose State. Just take a test drive in any new GMC truck, and you'll get a free ticket. But hurry, because when they're gone, they're gone. See Michael Hole in Carson City, Bosch in Winnemucca, or Winkle GMC truck in Reno now.
How about the long one? Did you see that?
No, I'm afraid I missed that.
What about that line smash to left field? You had to see that one?
You believe I missed that one, too?
Wait. Don't tell me you missed the race.
I didn't see it.
Catch the action you've been missing.
Nailed him. Yes!
On the George Michael Sports Machine. It's your own personal instant replay. TV's best weekly sports wrap-up. Sunday nights at 11:30 following the news on News Channel 8.
We're back here at Amos Alonzo Stagg Field in Stockton, California. The Wolfpack lead has been trimmed to 2 touchdowns at 31-17 with 4:04 to go. As Craig Wheelahan has found Trent Julian for a touchdown just a few moments ago to cut the lead.
Without anticipating the onsides, but they kick it deep.
We'll be taking a timeout right now with the Wolfpack up by 14 points with 4 minutes to go. We'll be back after these messages. Up by 2 touchdowns.
Zeke Moore has carried twice since the break and picked up a cumulative 6 yards. So the Wolfpack faces a 3rd and 4 in a somewhat important 3rd down situation.
If Pacific can hold, they'll be able to get the ball back.
Southwest Louisiana in the 3rd quarter now ahead of San Jose, 17-13. So they've come back from 13 to 3 down. And another interesting score out of the Big West, although not a conference game, Utah State defeating Brigham Young 58-56.
Whenever you see Brigham Young playing, and or any kind of team involved in the Western Athletic Conference, you got to like to bet the over. At 5:30 on Monday, we've got News Channel 8 with the team you know and trust. Then at 6 o'clock, the Redskins against the Bills on Monday Night Football. And then right after the game, Monday Night Sports Wrap with myself, Bob D., Larry Baden, and Dana Wagner talking about the various sports news of the week. Well, the big news right now is that the Wolfpack is in a 3rd and 4 situation, the ball on its own 26-yard line. And if the Wolfpack can pick up a 1st down here, it can pretty much salt this game away. Pacific has 1 timeout left. And there's that Ryan O'Donnell we talked about earlier. O'Donnell always snaps the ball whenever he sees a defensive lineman jump off sides, and Vargas did not call for that ball. O'Donnell did, and the flags are down, and if this penalty holds up against Pacific, and it will,
1st down.
That'll be a 1st down, and Ryan O'Donnell with a heads-up play has pretty much salted this game away for Nevada. Pacific will have to burn its last time out after this play, provided it's a running play. And Jeff Horton's team is, unless something amazingly dramatic happens in the next 3 minutes and 16 seconds, is going to come out of Stockton with a victory and still be on track to make the Las Vegas Bowl.
Wolfpack on their way to a 5-3 overall record and 3-1 in the conference with 2 conference games remaining.
A big play by Ryan O'Donnell. Now the Wolfpack just needs to hang on to the ball and run out the clock. Zeke Moore gains a couple of yards. We're inside of 3 minutes.
Once again, that San Jose State looms very big. Not only is it the Wolfpack's final game of the home season, it's senior day, and it's against San Jose State, the only team to hand the Wolfpack a loss last year during the conference season.
That was a whale of a game down in San Jose, and some of the fans here at Pacific, well, Pacific Tiger isn't feeling too cheery right now with 2.5 minutes to go in the game. Vargas hands off to Moore again. He cuts back. He's up near the 1st down. He'll be about a yard short. We've got another penalty flag down. That'll stop the clock. That's something Nevada does not want. And we might be in that holding territory, which is something that would certainly work against Nevada. Nevada just wants to run out the clock on Chuck Shelton's team and get out of Stockton, California with the W.
And we're back where we started the game with Zeke Moore in the backfield, trying to pick up a few yards, keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock moving, and get on the bus.
Well, we're still waiting from the officials, but the Wolfpack offense is backing up, so it looks like it'll be holding against Nevada. But at this point, I'd be very surprised, Paul, even if it is 2nd down and 16 or 17, if Nevada will bother to put the ball in the air.
Oh, they might. They've got a pretty controlled passing package, and they can be just as effective passing the ball with better chance of picking up big yardage. But you might see a draw or a flare.
Well, it looks like it'll be 2nd down, and they mark it from the spot of the infraction.
Wow.
And the official keeps walking farther and farther back.
It's hard to believe that a hold occurred 5 yards deep in the backfield on a running play.
Well, there's a 15-yard penalty tacked on for unsportsmanlike conduct. Wow, that is a big penalty, or penalties, plural. Now Nevada finds itself on its own 14-yard line. The clock is running with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. It's now 2nd down and 21.
Apparently some Wolfpack player voiced his opinion about the previous call.
Vargas has the ball deflected, and it's intercepted by Grant Carter. Oh, man, this game isn't over yet with 2:04 to go, and Pacific has the ball on the Nevada 9-yard line.
Unbelievable right there.
Oh, man, what a disaster. Vargas back to throw. The ball gets deflected, and Grant Carter dives and makes a terrific catch, and suddenly Pacific, which looked dead in the water just a few seconds ago, has the ball on the Nevada 9-yard line.
They are a touchdown and an successful onside kick away from being in the ballgame.
I think they're pretty much in the ballgame right now, Paul. They're down by 2 touchdowns, but they're on the 9-yard line, just 9 yards away from making this a 1-touchdown game. Nothing seems to be coming easy for this Nevada team this season. Wheelahan back. He rolls out, and he's got a touchdown. That's Kerry Brown. And with 1:58 to go.
Hold on to your hats. I was anticipating an onside kick after the previous touchdown. Now we will definitely see one, especially since Pacific only has 1 timeout left. They cannot afford to kick it deep.
Wheelahan rolls out. And he finds Kerry Brown, who catches the ball in front of Garnett Overby. Here's the extra point. They decide not to go for 2. Well, maybe
yes,
they will.
Are going for 2.
The kicker rolls out. The placeholder rolls out. He looks for his kicker Scoten, but it's no good. And there's another flag down. And let's see what the flag's about.
I was going to say right before the snap that at one time or another, they're going to have to go for 2, either this time or next time.
Well, it was a legal man downfield.
That'll be declined.
So we'll wait for the official call, but the preliminary call was a legal man downfield. And if that holds up, the Wolfpack will have an 8-point lead with 1:58 to go. Let's wait for the official call before we take a break. A legal man downfield against Pacific. It's declined. We'll be back in 60 seconds. The Wolfpack has an 8-point lead. Join us to pack up by 8 points. They have seen a 31-10 lead dissipate to 31-23. Here's the onside kick attempt. It hasn't gone 10 yards yet, and that means Nevada will keep the ball.
And they will keep the ball right there where it went out of bounds.
There's Steve Bryant, number 92, the guy with the mohawk right in front of the ball, and the ball did not go 10 yards, and that's what it needed to go for the onside kick. And Jeff Horton talking to Michael Stevens, and things continue to look good for Nevada at this point, but we said that a few moments ago, and Pacific ended up scoring a touchdown. So Nevada will get possession of the ball on the Pacific 44-yard line. Pacific has 1 timeout left. At this point,
Nevada gets 1 first down and the game's over.
Well, the conventional wisdom is run the ball up the middle here, makes Pacific use its last timeout, and then he may not have to run another play. Vargas hands off to Moore, who has both hands on the ball. Smart move by Zeke. Doubtless the Wolfpack assistant coaches told Zeke to hang on to it. And here's Pacific burning its last time out with 1:52 to go.
Zeke Moore, the sure hands back that Coach Horton wants in there at this situation.
Well, you're right, Paul. With 1:52 to go, the Pacific fans here hoping for something dramatic to happen. But if the Wolfpack can break 1 run of 8 yards and it's 2nd and 8, they can get a first down, and that'll burn the rest of this clock off. And Nevada can get out of here, breathe a sigh of relief, and pick up a victory. Nevada has a 4-3 record going into today's game.
Nevada made it very interesting with a couple of mistakes, including the screenplay on 3rd down and long.
And that puts the Wolfpack at what, -16 on turnovers?
believe that's right.
Minus 16 on turnovers for the season. But if the Wolfpack can hang on and win this game, they'll improve their record to 3-1 in Big West Conference play, 5-3 on the season.
Turnover margin is a category that the coaches look at very, very carefully. They feel that if they can be in the plus on the takeaways, giveaways, they have a good chance of winning.
Well, it's a testament to the Wolfpack offense that you're at minus 16 in turnovers, and yet you've got a winning record. 2nd down and 8. Zeke Moore, the only back. Vargas hands off to Moore. He keeps both hands on the ball again and falls forward. He's very close to the first down. He'll be about 1.5 yards short. Pacific can't stop the clock. And with a wise quarterback, senior quarterback like Chris Vargas, he'll make sure he'll wind this clock down and snap the ball at the last possible moment before he can earn a delay of game penalty. There's 1:30 and counting left. 3rd down and 2. Simply put, a Wolfpack first down here, and you can pretty much kiss this one goodbye. Moore, and he is very close. I don't think he made it, Paul.
I don't think so either. Second effort got him close.
The officials have not signaled to stop the clock. Now they have with 1:01 to go. They'll go out and measure. And if he is indeed short, Paul, then you have to think about what you've got to do. You can either pooch the punt and
I would not take a chance on a long snap.
I think you'd have to go for it if he's short. And he is short. They didn't even measure. It's 4th down.
And they're going to go, or they're at least going to try to draw them off.
I don't see the play clock down here on the field. I can't see it from here. It's right below the score, but now I see it with 20 seconds left. So Vargas will continue to snap or continue to let the play clock run out. He's got 12 seconds left before he has to snap the ball. There's 46 seconds left to go in the game. Now he's got 5 seconds left to snap the ball. Now 3.
They may
now
take the
2.
penalty.
He takes a timeout with 1 second left. There's now 37 seconds left to go in the game. A wise move by Nevada since it had its full complement of timeouts. So the Pack burns off a few more seconds of the clock. There are 37 seconds left. Nevada leads by 8.
It'll be interesting to see what the Wolfpack does now. They can try to pooch it down there and put them 95 yards away.
I would think that they'll probably go with that full house backfield that has been very effective this season. Go to the 3-man backfield. I see Diedrich Holmes on the field. I see Marcellus Prashon on the field. So I think they're going to go with that Fresno State.
Heavy, they call it. The heavy look.
The heavy D. And we'll see if the heavy D can lead to a heavy O offense. We'll see if the Wolfpack can get a first down and salt this game away. Pacific has played very stubbornly today. A team with a 1-6 record. A team that doesn't really have a chance at the Big West Championship, but they've played very stubbornly here at homecoming, and Chuck Shelton's team has played very good, hard-nosed football today.
I think when you look at the yardage, you'll see that the yardage-to-points ratio is very favorable for Pacific.
All right, here we go. The quick snap will be anticipated here. Vargas hands off to Krishan, and he should get enough for the first down. That should put the ball game away.
Eric Krishan, as we've seen so often, decided to try to go up and over.
That should do it. With 37 seconds to play.
Well, about 8 members of the Wolfpack offense have already given the signal that it's a first down.
It's official. First down, 33 seconds and counting. There's 19 seconds left on the play clock, so the Wolfpack will have to run one more play, but Vargas can down it and officially end this game with this next play. 18 seconds to go. Vargas takes the knee with 15 seconds to go, and that should do it, and that will do it. Well, the Wolfpack, after losing an embarrassing game last week against Weber State, comes back and wins a crucial game on the road against the University of Pacific Tigers. Chuck Shelton's team made it rather interesting in the final moments, but the Wolfpack comes away with a 31-23 victory. The Pack improves its record to 5-3 overall. Jeff Horton's team is now 3-1 in conference play. We'll take a break, and we'll be back in Stockton, California with some post-game comments right after these messages. Join me, Rob Nikolewski, for Monday Night.
Along with Paul Stewart here in Stockton, California, where the Nevada Wolfpack has hung on and defeated the University of Pacific Tigers 31-23. A big win for the Wolfpack today, Paul, in a game they really needed to bounce back from after last week.
They really did, Rob. You know, it was an embarrassment for the program. I think that most of the kids will tell you that they overlooked Weber State. They assumed that they could go out and win that game. But let's not talk about Weber State. Let's talk about this game here today, where Nevada came out, had a few problems,
but it got a big play near the end of the first half.
Got a big play at the end of the first half, which is the play of the game, which will be coming up.
At this point, it was a 10-10 game, and Chris Vargas, late in the first half, goes back. And the Wolfpack wide receivers crossed up Pacific, and the Pack got pretty much a gift touchdown to a wide-open Brian Reeves. That made it 17-10 Nevada at halftime, and the Wolfpack was able to hang on and get the victory. They got a couple of touchdown catches by Brian Reeves and also a couple of touchdown catches from Mike Sr., who is down on the field right now. Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Mike, you had a big game today. What was going through your mind and also the players' mind going into this game against Pacific?
Well, we knew what we had to do to accomplish a victory today. We have 4 left on our way to the Vegas Bowl, and right now we had to get this one to get us over the hump. Last week we didn't play well against Weber State, so now we knew we had to come in this game, have our emotions high, and play well, and that I think we did. Offensively, we could have played better. We had a few turnovers that we need to eliminate next week so we can beat San Jose State.
How much did last week's game carry over to this week's game, if at all?
Not much. In my mind, I put it out Saturday night. I wanted to get that out of our mind. It was a 1AA team. You know, it didn't count on our standings. It hurt our overall record, but, you know, in a whole scheme of things, we wanted to go to the Vegas Bowl, and that didn't hurt our chances of doing that, and it didn't hurt our chances of winning the conference.
Okay, Mike, I got Paul Stewart here, and Paul, you want to ask him about one of the touchdown catches he had earlier?
Actually, I want to ask you about the play at the end of the first half. We understand it was a crossing pattern. You didn't catch it, but describe the play to us.
Well, it's a wheel route, and it's the same play I caught one last week against Weber, where I go across the middle, and Brian fakes an out and runs up, and they both took me, and he was left wide open for the score.
And you were fairly wide open a couple of times today as well. You caught a couple of touchdown passes. Let's take a look at one of your touchdown catches today. This is when you're down in Pacific territory. I believe this is your first reception. Describe this play.
Well, this play actually went to Brian Reeves. It was a 57 to him, and I just happened to be looking back at the ball, and I stopped as soon as the ball was in flight. I knew Brian wasn't going to be able to catch it, so I just stopped and caught it myself.
Well, well, Michael, you got a situation now where you're back on track. You're still on track to make the Las Vegas Bowl. What are your thoughts now? We got one final home game left against San Jose next week.
Well, that's the biggest game of the year next week. We got to come in prepared. We got to have a good week of practice because that's where it all starts. We got to go into the game and have no penalties, no turnovers, and just play a well-executed game. That's the word of the week for this upcoming week is execute, because as long as our offense executes it, it's hard for anybody to beat us. So we're going to come in high amped and ready to play next week.
Well, congratulations, Mike. You had 4 catches for 52 yards and 2 touchdowns. Good going, and have a good trip back to Reno.
Thank you. You guys too.
All right, the Wolfpack comes away with a victory today, 31-23. Our next telecast here on News Channel 8, 2 weeks from today. Nevada taking on New Mexico State, and as Paul mentioned, Mexico State still very much in contention for the Big West Championship. That'll be Saturday on November 13th at 12:30. Here in Stockton, California, the Wolfpack comes away with a 31-23 victory. For Rob Nikolewski, Dan Gustin out sick. Dan, I hope you're feeling better. Paul Stewart did a
nice show sponsored by Wild West Electronics and A1 Body Shop.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to Pack Attack 93. I'm Mike Galanos. The Wolfpack in a must-win situation yesterday in Stockton, California as they took on the Pacific Tigers. Really, from here on out, everything's a must-win situation if they're going to repeat as the Big West Conference champs. Now, coming into the game, the idea for the Pacific Tigers was to slow the game down. They don't have a bad defense, but it was the Pack who tried to take advantage of some mistakes and come out smoking early.
A beautiful day in Stockton, California. Temperature in the 80s, but just over 11,000 show up at Amos Alonzo Stagg Memorial Field, and a lot of them were Pack fans. On the opening drive, Nevada set to run the football. Chris Vargas picks up 7. And then the senior, Zeke Moore, gets the start. He rips off a 14-yard gain. Nevada moving. But a couple of penalties stall the Pack drive until they get fancy. Here in punt formation, Chris Vargas is the up back. So Pacific has too many men on the field. At least that was the call from the press box. So it's no punt, and the Tigers are penalized 15 yards. First down Pack. And with a 2nd and 3 from the Tiger 26, it looks like Nevada's ready to go. Chris Vargas, a little improv. He hits his tight end Tom Matter, but he fumbles the football. And Pacific takes over at their own 8. But the Pac D would keep UOP pinned deep. David Miller with one of 5 Nevada sacks.
It was real emotional. Last week, I told you, we just laid down, thought it was going to come to us. But this week, we was there. You know, we was aware of everything. We came together as a team, and we dominated. Right?
How about some more Pac D? On 3rd and long, watch Marty Washington come up, and he drops Craig Wheelahan for the 1-yard loss. Pacific has to punt from their own 3. Nevada took over at the Tiger 44. Chris Vargas going right to work. He hits Tom Matter for 13. And then it's time for the running QB.
We were running a shovel play, and I was going to pitch it to Brian, but I said, hey, I got a lead blocker here. You know, let him block, and I'll dive for, you know, about 10 yards. So it's pretty nice. I'm trying to get into the positive yards this year instead of negative.
What are the coaches telling you? Man, knock that off. Or what?
Yeah, Coach Horton said, hey, you know, pitch it to Brian, let him do the running. That's what he's paid for. You're paid to throw the ball, not run it.
The Pack ground game gets him down to the 4, but on 3rd and goal, Rodney Campbell makes the big play. And the Pack has to settle for a 21-yard Armando Avina field goal and a very special kick for the Stockton area product.
Saw a couple of Armando Avina banners and everything.
It's great, yeah. My parents had a couple banners up. A couple friends, coaches, got to see. I haven't seen in a long time. It's great to come back home and win a big game like this.
The Tigers start their next drive from their own 17, and Jimmy Jones, the grunt up front, busts loose. First, he drops Jesse Campbell for a loss, then the big sack on Craig Wheelahan.
There he was, sitting right there, you know, and I tackled him, and it just popped out. I didn't even realize it. And I looked up, and Twan's sitting there, you know, bobbling. I'm all, just jump on it, you know, and then they got it, you know, but, you know, it was a big play, you know.
Feel good to jack the quarterback like that?
Oh, yeah, man. It's been a long while, man. It felt good, real good.
The Tigers had to punt from their own end zone. The Pack gets great field position. They start at the UOP 32. Chris Vargas looking like Fran Tarkington. He stops just short of the line of scrimmage. He hits a wide-open Brian Reeves for the easy 19-yard touchdown. After 1, the Pack is up 10-zip. But up 10-zip at that point, really Nevada could have been up 21-0. The defense playing great, creating some opportunities. The offense took advantage for 10 points. Now the Pacific Tigers, they would come back in the 2nd quarter and start a big drive. Time again. David Miller, his 2nd sack on Wheelahan. And the Pack defense forces a 3rd and 19, but UOP comes through. Craig Wheelahan in the Harry Houdini escape act here. The Pack gets good pressure, but somehow Wheelahan gets out of it. He hits Bill Cox, and he turns on the Jets. Big Bill rumbles for a 34-yard gain, down to the Pack 30. On 2nd and 6, the Tigers go to the draw. Stanley Green picks up 12 yards, and Pacific has a first down at the Pack 14. Then the Pack D gets a little nasty. Watch Clayton Lopez lay the wood to Darrell Rogers.
Just go out and tear everybody up. That was basically the mindset. I just wanted to hit anything that come by or on the other team. That was our set. You know, be physical. Knock these guys around the whole game.
The Pack D forces a 3rd and goal, and Wheelahan's pass is incomplete. So Pacific's 7-minute, 77-yard drive results in a 20-yard field goal, and it's 10-3 Nevada. Then the ball starts bouncing the Tigers' way. Chris Vargas rolls right. His pass goes off Brian Reeves' fingertips. Jeff Russell gets the interception, and UOP has a first down at Nevada's 35.
The thing we got to eliminate again is the turnovers, Mike. If we do that against San Jose, against a team like that, we're not going to win the championship.
And the Tigers go right to work. Stanley Green rips off an 11-yard gain down to the Pack 24. Then the Pack sets up a 3rd and 1. Andy Boo, the big hit on Green. Now we've got a 4th and 1. Can the Pack D muscle up? Not quite enough. Darrell Rogers gets the first down, and Pacific smelling end zone. On the next play, Wheelahan drops back. Greg Weston makes the catch at the 2, and then a couple of plays later, Darrell Rogers slides into the end zone, and with 4:31 to go in the half, we're tied 10-10. On the Pack's next drive, watch number 38, Grant Carter, say hello to Chris Vargas. The ball goes sailing into the stands, and Mr. Carter could be Mr. Congeniality.
Yeah, Grant's a good guy. I mean, he's too nice of a guy, though. I'm down there on the pile, and he's going, good job, Chris. You know, let me help you up, Chris. I'm saying, hey, this is a football game, you know. Start cursing at me or something.
None of that nice guy stuff for the Pack D on 3rd and 10. Steve Bryant swarms all over Stanley Green.
Yeah, we were flying around today, you know, that Weaver game, you know. A lot of people were doubting us and stuff, and we just came back and we had to reestablish that we can play defense here at Nevada, and I think we did that pretty good today.
With 1:10 to go, Pack offensive coordinator Steve Hagan told his offensive line to block your butts off, and Chris Vargas will take us to pay dirt. He was right. First, the Magic Man hits Mike Sr. for 19 up to the 39. Sr. with 4 catches, and Michael Stevens only had 1 catch on the day. This one right here for 13 yards. Now there's less than 30 seconds to go in the half. A couple of penalties push the Pack back to their own 42. But watch the Magic Man go to work. This one goes to primetime Brian Reeves. An easy 58-yard touchdown as we go into the half. The Pack is up 17-10. And Mr. Reeves says, the heck with it. I don't care about the penalty. I got to get this dance step in.
Brian starts on the inside, and he wheels around to the outside, and Mike's on a post. And the safety in the corner just sucked in with Mike, and Brian was wide open. All they had to do was play catch with him.
A huge emotional lift for Nevada as they get the big touchdown before the half to go up by 7.
That was one of the few big plays of the game. You know, all coaches say that 3 or 4 plays are going to win and lose you the game. There was one of them right there. Brian Reeves in the big 58-yard touchdown. And the Pack up, a big emotional lift as they go up 17-10 into the half. You look at the statistics in Pacific, they're not doing bad. They're holding the ball. They've had it for 17 minutes in the first half. That's what they wanted to do. Slow the pace down. Now, if they don't give up that big score and it's 10-10, they get the big emotional lift going into halftime, but it was the other way around. As Nevada gets the touchdown, they take the touchdown lead as we go into halftime. When we come back, we'll take a look at the second half. Could the Pack lay it on the Tigers and get the big win in Stockton, California? We'll find out when we come back. Could the Pack lay it on the Tigers and get the big win in Stockton, California? We'll find out when we come back. Welcome back to Pack Attack 93. I'm Mike Galanos. We're reviewing the Pack's big win over the University of Pacific, 31-23. And as we start the second half, Nevada's got this 17-10 lead, but then both teams play turnover time. It's back and forth until Nevada finally takes charge.
A sloppy start to the second half, keyed by the UOP mascot. Check out the 2-year-old girl trying to get something going, and she gets stepped on, and somebody slapped that mascot. And the Tiger offense was bungling as well. Craig Wheelahan hits Greg Weston, but he's going to get hit. He coughs up the football. Frank Marvitz gets the recovery, and Nevada making things happen on D.
They know their backs to the wall, and they got to play well, and we got to win the conference championship with some defense. And so we had a good, intense week of practice, and I think the emotion level is up. You know, they know every game counts now, and they've got to win every time out.
But the Pack offense gives it right back. Chris Vargas babies a pass to Michael Stevens, one of 3 interceptions.
I don't care if we throw the ball so much and all that stuff. I just don't want to throw the interceptions. The interceptions really kill our drives. You know, that's the only thing I'm mad about, is throwing the interceptions and not making the proper decisions.
We'll play turnover one more time, and it's the freshman Garnett Overby. He forced the last fumble, and then he gets the INT, his second of the year.
Yeah, it was a big play. They kept trying to run the vertical on us, and I just read it, and the quarterback made a bad throw and got the interception.
The Pack starts a drive from their own 29, and the Nevada backs take over. Marcellus Krishan goes for 9. Then a little swing pass to the running MC, and he picks up 14 down to the UOP 39. One more time for the JC running back of the year last season. He gets 13 this time, and then his buddy Zeke Moore takes over. Big Zeke gets 8, and then 10 more here. The Nevada backs are rolling.
Me and Marcellus complement each other real well. You know, we have me with the power type style, you know, running and slashing in there. And Marcellus slashing in there, and I just kind of like pounded at him. So they really complemented each other, because when they were keying on a power guy, then here comes Marcellus.
Power and speed, you know, we came in with the game plan. You know, okay, Zeke's in, he's going to pound him out for a first 2 possessions, and then they put me in there.
The Nevada backs gave way to Air Wolf. Chris Vargas hits Mike Sr. for the 7-yard score, and the Pack's up 24-10. But Pacific comes right back. They drive down to the Pack 36, and on 4th and 1, it's Miller time. Watch big number 96, David Miller, make one of the biggest plays of the game. He squashes Ozzie Wallace. The Pack takes over on downs.
Right down is like double G. That's 2 tackles going between the guards. I got start getting crazy in the mind of this 4-point stance, and I came off, and I was there.
And just blasted him, huh?
Yeah, blasted him.
What were you feeling that when you knocked him, man?
I was happy, yeah.
The big guy was fired up. David Miller played a great game. Big plays all over the place. And that's what the Pack defense needs. They got it yesterday against Pacific. But David Miller, one of the keys of that defense. Defensive backs playing well. Jim Jones, Steve Bryant, everybody flying around. As we head to the fourth quarter, the Pack looking to put this one away, up 14.
Now, both teams exchange punts through the end of the third and the beginning of the fourth quarter. Then it's muscle football for Nevada. Marcellus Christian goes for 8, and then the running MC gets 7 more, and the Pack has a first down at the Tiger 43. Then the Pack tries to get a little fancy. A gutsy call here, a reverse pass. Brian Reeves looking long, but oh boy, quack, quack, shoot that thing. Jeff Russell with the interception, but luckily for the Pack, it's a defensive holding call against UOP. Brian, all I've got to say or sing is quackity quack, don't talk back.
What is up with this quackity quack pass of yours? Now tell me about that.
Hey, man, I just told you don't ask me about that. Hey, it was a 47 reverse pass, and if Mike is open, I can throw it, or I have the choice to run. I made a mistake. I should have ran it, but I was just trying to get Mike a touchdown, so that's all. But, I mean, I didn't even want to throw it. I don't know why I even stopped and threw it, but I did. It was quackity quack.
Quack, 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 Brian. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, he should have ran the ball on that one, and he knew it right after he threw it and stuff. It's something that we practice all week, a little gimmick play in there. Brian, I think if he threw it a better ball, it might have been a different story, but, he threw a little duck in there, and, he's allowed those. I throw him, so it's all right.
Now back to a more conventional offensive game plan. It's the running game, and it's Marcellus Christian for 11. Then with a 3rd and 7 from the 13, Chris Vargas once again, that great offensive mind. He calls the right audible to Mike Sr. for his second score of the day, and the Pack takes a 31-10 lead.
He gets us into the right play. Each one of us sees what is going on with the defense, and each one reads that accordingly, and he is the main focus of our whole offense, so he looks around and sees everybody, and when they're misaligned, he opens to the right call.
The Pack D let up just a little bit as UOP goes on a 6-minute drive. Here Stanley Green gets 13, but Steve Bryant was still snarling. Watch him dole out a headache to Craig Wheelahan. Hooch, that would set up a 4th and 14 at the Pack 24. The Tigers get sick. Wheelahan shakes the cobwebs. He hits Trent Julian on the 24-yard score. Now it's 31-17 with 4 minutes to go. And I guess Nevada wanted to make it interesting as well. Chris Vargas' pass is tipped at the line. Grant Carter makes the interception, and UOP has the ball at the Pack 9. And it takes him just one play to score. Wheelahan sprints out left. He hits Kerry Brown for the 9-yard touchdown. And with 1:58 to go, it's 31-23 Nevada. So it's onside kick time for Nevada. Jason Schouten lines it up, but the ball's going to roll and roll and rolling out of bounds. Pack ball.
What was I thinking, man? I was nervous. What do you think I was thinking? I was sweating right here. Hey, it came down the onside kick. We didn't get it. We had to get the first down. We got it. But, hey, a win's a win. They don't put down how much you win by or how it was this or that. It just goes down as a win.
The Pack offense runs out the clock, and they win this one 31-23. Time for the showdown with San Jose State.
We got to get everybody healed up, everybody's bummed and stuff, and emotions got to be high. Everybody's got to be there. The whole crowd's got to be into it. And, I mean, it's the biggest game of the year right now.
That's going to be a great game, and everybody come out and howl. That's all I can say about that one.
It's our last home game, and they've been calling me prime time all year long, and that's my motto for that game. I'm prime time, and I'm about to just go out there, try to have a game of my life. We just have to continue up and do well. I'm ready. I'm very ready. Let's go. Let's go right now. Just turn the lights on. Tell them to fly down.
All right, Zeke pumped up. We'll talk to Zeke in a minute. The Pack wins 31-23, and when we come back, we'll talk about San Jose State. But before we do, let's hit the final statistics. The Pack, you got to be a little bit disturbed as Pacific held the ball for 34 minutes. They were able to slow the game down, but some positives for the Wolfpack. 178 yards on the ground. Marcellus Christian and Zeke Moore each with 76. Chris Vargas, a little, again, disturbing with the 3 INTs, but 225 yards through the air. The Pack held down a little bit offensively with 403 yards, while Pacific, they get just 292, so a pretty good performance for the Nevada Wolfpack defense. All right, when we come back, we'll go into the locker room and check in with the fellas. Center Ryan O'Donnell, defensive back Clayton Lopez, and one of the Nevada backs, Zeke Moore. That and more when we come back to Pack Attack 93. Welcome back to Pack Attack 93. I'm Mike Colanos. We're reviewing the Pack's 31-23 win over Pacific, and we're now in the locker room with the Pack Attack posse. Let me introduce our favorites here today. Right next to me, the center, Ryan O'Donnell, defensive back Clayton Lopez, and running back Zeke Moore. Thanks, fellas, for jumping in. And we'll start with Clayton Lopez. You know, last week we were here, and I raked Jim Jones over the coals about the defense. And today you guys come out a little more emotional, making some big hits. And you yourself made a huge hit early on, and it seemed like you guys were fired up.
As a defense, we're fired up. We've been talked about, you know, by the media. And that got us kind of ticked off a little bit. And we have to come back this week, you know, and show them, you know, that we don't need to learn how to play defense. That we already know how to play defense. So that's what we have to show the media to.
You look at this hit here. Now, what's going on in your mind as you blast this guy? Then you start walking into the Pacific huddle. Were you ready to take them all on or what?
Yeah, I was kind of mad because he got back up. I didn't hit him hard enough. So I was waiting for another opportunity to get on him. So, you know, I just want to tear him up some more. He got up. I was mad because he got up.
Maybe us media folk better take it easy on Clayton. Staying with the defense, Clayton, you guys made some big plays. Are you satisfied with the defensive performance yesterday? I mean, a fourth down, David Miller makes a big play, some interceptions. Seemed you were making some things happen. You satisfied?
Pretty satisfied. We still have some things we have to improve on as a defense, but all in all, we were happy with our performance. We made some turnovers, got the offense the ball in position to score. And next week we have to pick it up a lot more, you know, against San Jose State because we have to be at our best.
Good offensive team, yeah, definitely in San Jose. Yeah. Speaking of good offenses, the Wolfpack offense getting it done again, and I think a big play, Ryan, was before the half when again it's the magic man, Chris Vargas to Brian Reeves. How much did that one pump you up? That big 58-yard touchdown.
Not only did it give us a score, I thought it gave us the emotional lift going into halftime, and that's what we needed because we were kind of struggling early on. We were doing what we wanted to, and that was kind of run the ball and kind of control it. We knew they wanted to, you know, get the time possession, but I thought that right there really put us into the second half with a high emotional lift.
Talking about that, some of the touchdowns. Here's the play here. I heard Steve Hagan say, block your butts off, we're going to score. Is there always that kind of confidence that big plays like this are just around the corner?
Well, we have complete trust in our running backs, in Vargas and in Reeves, and we know that if we block for them, things are going to happen. It may not be the big play like that. It could just be a big drive, you know, taking it down. But either way, we know if we keep working at it, that's our philosophy of the union. That we keep working, things will work out for us.
All right. Now you mentioned the running backs, and one of them's here with us today, Zeke Moore. Zeke, 76 yards, and the 1-2 punch, Marcellus and Zeke, power and speed, doing it upright. You satisfied with that? This 1-2 punch, you guys did well yesterday.
I thought it was decent. We did a pretty good job. We did what we were supposed to do. But I feel we need to pick it up a few notches to go in against San Jose State this week.
Let me ask you this, Zeke. I know it's got to be tough. It's your senior year, and you guys have been sharing time, yourself, Marcellus, Diedrich some. Is it tough? I mean, I know you guys are a team, and you want, but you got, as the Nevada, you probably want to be the Nevada back and maybe get the ball 30 times.
Yeah, well, honestly, it is tough. But you have to have a team-oriented effort when you play the game. So you can't just be selfish saying, okay, I want the ball and I want to win, I want to win. If you go into it saying that, you know, it's a team game and we're going to win and we have to do whatever we can to win the game, then we'll be okay.
How is the relationship between you and Marcellus? I mean, you're pulling for each other, or when he gets the 10-yard gain, you're going, oh, man. What is the philosophy on that?
No, I think Marcellus and I thrive off each other. You know, when he's doing good, I want to do good. And, you know, when I'm doing good, he wants to do good. I think throughout the season, we've become a lot closer as friends just from competing and just having a relationship as, you know, being buddies or whatever.
All right. Let me ask you guys quickly each this question. San Jose State, how fired up? We'll start with you, Zeke. How fired are you up through this one? It's for all the marbles.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm very fired up. As I was saying, you know, at UOP, you know, they could turn the lights on right there. Let's just get it on. I have a personal grudge against San Jose because, for one, last year, you know, we lost that close, crucial game. And also, I had a key turnover in that game. It's been bothering me for a whole year, so I got to make some revenge coming up this year.
Quickly, Clayton, you ready for him?
Yes. As a defense, we have our work cut out for us. There are some very talented people on offense, and we have to practice real hard this week as a defense to stop these guys.
Big fella, how about you? Sorry, Clayton.
That's right. Game of my life, senior year. This is what it comes down to. Conference championship, senior day. Doesn't get any better.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Congratulations on the Pacific win. Good luck against San Jose State. I'm sure myself and all the media folk are going to be around you this week to see if you really are ready. And with that, we will take a look at how San Jose State did in the rest of the Big West when we come back on Pack Attack 93. Big West, and a surprise really is Southwest Louisiana beats San Jose State, the final 24-13. As you look at the standings, a logjam. Look at all those teams with just one loss. So right now, Nevada's got to be just gearing up for San Jose State next week at Mackey Stadium. You win that in the rest of your games, I think the Pack should be looking good to go back to that